Chapter 432, Chapter 432, Sure enough, Senior doesn't fancy these. Chapter 432, Sure enough, Senior doesn't fancy these. Things, 1. God World, in front of the mountain gate of the School of Imperial Beasts. Xiao En and a group of School of Imperial Beasts elders stood at the entrance of the mountain. Hearing that Xiao Changtian was about to leave, Xiao En also walked forward. Senior, please wait a moment. As soon as he finished speaking, Sean clapped his hands. Moo! 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 Following the sound of a cow's cry, Xiao Changtian also saw the mountain path. An old man was leading a green-yellow-skinned old bull as he slowly walked towards them. Behind Old Cow was a cart made of black stone. Old man, what are you doing? Xiao Changtian said to Xiao En slowly when he saw the sect elder. Xiao En heard Xiao Changtian's words and quickly explained. Senior, you gave Qianqian such a precious gift. Please accept this cow and cart. As he spoke, the elder of the School of Imperial Beasts also came to Xiao Changtian. Senior, this bull has a bad temper, so it was delayed. The elder of the School of Imperial Beasts who was leading the cow was also sweating. Then, as if he was worried that Xiao Changtian wouldn't be satisfied, he continued. But senior, don't worry. This cow is quite good at traveling. When the green bull appeared, the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect looked a little frightened. Why did fourth elder let this guy out? I remember that he caused a ruckus in the sect last time. That's right. It's said that the blue sky yellow ox has a trace of the bloodline of an ancient divine beast in its body and is extremely difficult to tame. Even the sect master failed back then. I wonder what kind of disaster it will bring this time. The sect master and the others wanted to give it to Senior. With Senior around, what else can this old bull do? Yes, yes. Only someone like Senior is worthy of his status. The disciples of the School of Imperial Beasts were all talking at once. It was obvious that they were very surprised by the appearance of the green sky yellow ox. When Xiao Changtian heard the conversation between Xiao En and the sect of Imperial Beasts, he also looked at the green sky yellow ox and the black carriage in front of him. This. Xiao Changtian looked at them, not knowing what to say. This old bull was obviously used by the old man and the others to farm for a living. If he took this old bull away, what would the old man and the others do in the future? With Xiao Changtian's eyesight, he could see that the car behind him was made of the same material as the stone bed in the room before. He had slept on the stone bed before, and it was very uncomfortable to sit on it. Xiao En saw Xiao Changtian's hesitant expression. Senior, is there a problem? If it doesn't work, I'll change it. Seeing Xiao Changtian's hesitant expression, Xiao En was a little flustered. This green sky yellow ox was one of the highest level demonic beasts in their School of Imperial Beasts. Originally, Sean had wanted to bring it to his senior to use as a mount. And the car behind it was built overnight by Sean. It was all made of black stone, so there was no need to mention the benefits it had for cultivation. Now, it seemed that Senior was not very satisfied. At this time, Xiao Changtian also walked to Xiao En's side and put his arm around his shoulder. Old man, I appreciate your kindness, but I really don't need these. Xiao Changtian patted Xiao En's back as he spoke. Xiao En and the sect of Imperial Beasts elders behind him were disappointed when they heard Xiao Changtian's words. As expected, Senior doesn't care about these things. However, thinking about it, it made sense. With Senior's strength, the divine beast heaven-swallowing dog was his pet. Why would he take a fancy to this green sky yellow ox that only had a little divine beast bloodline? If this continued, it would not be good if it caused Senior to be disgusted. At this time, Xiao En also gave Xiao Changtian a fist hug. I will listen to Senior's arrangements. Xiao Changtian saw Xiao En's expression and waved at him. Old man, why are you so polite? As he spoke, Xiao Changtian waved at Chu Yiren. Then, he led Chu Yiren down the mountain. In front of the mountain gate, Xiao En looked at Xiao Changtian's back and sighed. Although Xiao Changtian didn't accept their gifts, he was still on good terms with Xiao Qianqian. In the future, if the Imperial Beast Sect had any trouble, they would have another backer. At this time, Xiao Qianqian stood beside Xiao En and watched Xiao Changtian leave. She sighed. Sigh, I wonder when I can play flying chess with Senior again. Hearing Xiao Qianqian's words, the second elder of the School of Imperial Beasts also came to her side. He placed his hand on Xiao Qianqian's shoulder. Qian, it doesn't matter. Like Senior. Wait, what did you just say, flying chess? Before the second elder of the School of Imperial Beasts could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Xiao En. Xiao Qianqian nodded slowly when she saw Xiao En suddenly turn around and look at her. That's right, Sect Master. I played flying chess with Senior for the entire night last night. Hearing Xiao Qianqian's words, the second elder of the School of Imperial Beasts asked. What is a flying chess piece? Didn't you do it with Senior last night? Hearing her father's words, Xiao Qianqian's face reddened slightly. She understood that her father and the others had misunderstood. Flying chess is a game that Senior created himself. Nothing happened between Senior and me last night. When Xiao En heard Xiao Qianqian's words, he covered his face and exhaled slowly through his nostrils. The other elders of the School of Imperial Beasts were even more stunned and at a loss. Quick, tell those disciples who haven't set off to come back. Xiao En pointed at an elder from the School of Imperial Beasts and said slowly. In a small town in the great desolate immortal continent. This was the nearest town to the Imperial Beast Sect, and it was also the relay station set up by the Imperial Beast Sect. Usually, those cultivators who admired the Imperial Beast Sect and wanted to join. Cultivators who wanted to know all kinds of news about the Imperial Beast Sect would gather here. At this moment, the restaurants, inns, and lofts in the small town were all full. During this period of time, the Great Jin Empire, the Yangqi Holy Land, the Yinqi Holy Land, and the Night Walk Sect had joined forces to attack the Imperial Beast Sect, becoming the hottest topic in the Great Desolate Immortal Continent. Countless cultivators gathered here to get first-hand information. After all, this was related to the power structure of the Great Desolate Immortal Continent in the future. In a restaurant, a few cultivators were sitting at a wooden table, chatting and laughing. The latest news is that the Great Jin Empire led by Shinzhong has been completely defeated and is currently fleeing. Shinzhong himself was seriously injured. When someone saw him coming down from the Imperial Beast Gate, his entire body was covered in blood. He probably didn't have long to live. A cultivator wearing a light yellow coat said slowly with a piece of meat in his hand. Hearing this cultivator's words, someone on the wooden table immediately responded. Really? Then it seems that the Imperial Beast Sect still won. Didn't they say that Shinzhong and the others would win this time? From the looks of it now, the Imperial Beast Sect still has a deep foundation. No. At this moment, the cultivator in the light yellow shirt shook his head. Chapter 433, Chapter 433, that scene could be said to be avoided by. Chapter 433, that scene could be said to be avoided by. Heaven and earth, and fearful by ghosts and gods, 1. Great desolate immortal continent, small town restaurant. The cultivator at the table saw the yellow-robed cultivator shake his head and asked. Oh, what do you mean? Do you know anything else? Yeah, tell me quickly. Don't hide it. Hearing everyone's voices, the cultivator in the light yellow shirt knocked on the table and stretched out his palm. What? You actually want to charge us? Do you still treat us as friends? Seeing the yellow-robed cultivator's actions, everyone understood and said. It's useless to say more. No matter what, I risked my life to get this information. The yellow-robed cultivator ignored everyone's reaction and slowly replied. At this moment, a chinquan bag flew towards the yellow-robed cultivator. Whoosh! The yellow-robed cultivator grabbed the Qiankuan bag and checked it. Then, he looked up and saw a white-haired old man and a cloaked man looking at him at the table next door. "Tell me everything you know." "All right, sir." The yellow-robed cultivator looked at them with a smile. Then, he stood up and walked to their side. He slowly said to them, "It is said that the reason why Shinzhong was injured was because of that young senior who lives in the Imperial Beast Sect. At that time, Shinzhong and the other three wanted to kill Xiaoen. And at this moment, that young senior directly tore through the air from the Imperial Beast Gate. That scene can be said to be avoided by heaven and earth, and feared by ghosts and gods. With just a casual casting, countless divine beasts appeared and attacked Shinzhong and the others. Then Shinzhong and the others were directly defeated and could only flee in panic." Hearing this, the cultivator at the table also questioned. "Nonsense, I clearly heard that it was Qian from the school of Imperial Beasts. Qian. At most, he was just a deity emperor. How could he possibly repel Shinzhong? They all don't even think about it. Do you think that all those as young as senior are experts?" The yellow-robed cultivator was speechless and didn't reply. At this point, the yellow-robed cultivator revealed a reverent gaze. "This time, my brothers and I came here to meet that young senior. An existence like that young senior is really a role model for my generation." When the white-haired old man heard the yellow-robed cultivator's words, he also used his chopsticks to knock on his plate. "All right. What else do you know about that young senior? How is his relationship with the Imperial Beast Sect?" The yellow-robed cultivator continued to speak slowly when he heard the white-haired old man's words. That young senior did not have a good relationship with the Imperial Beast Sect at the beginning. However, after Xiaoen saw his strength, he directly took out the green sky yellow ox in his sect and offered it to Senior. That was why Senior was allowed to stay in his Imperial Beast Sect. At this moment, the few female cultivators who had been silent all this time also became infatuated. "I really want to meet that Senior. I've always liked men who conquer others with their strength." As she spoke, the female cultivator covered her face with her hands. "Is there anything else?" The cloaked man finished the last piece of meat on the plate and spoke for the first time. There's nothing else for the time being, two masters." The yellow-robed cultivator thought for a moment and slowly said. Then, the cloaked man stood up from his seat and walked out. The white-haired old man also carried the bamboo basket on his back and followed him out. After exiting the restaurant, the cloaked man slowly said to the white-haired old man beside him. "Medicine Sovereign, what do you think about that young senior?" That's right, the white-haired old man beside the cloaked man was one of the 10 great generals of the Divine Court, the Medicine Sovereign. As for the cloaked man, he was naturally one of Tian's avatars that was lost in the Divine Realm. The Medicine Sovereign found a straw from somewhere and held it in his mouth. He slowly spoke to the cloaked man. "Master, we can't not believe what that person said, and we can't completely believe it. At least on the surface, Xiaoen has some godly emperor cultivation. Shen Zhong and the others have also reached the level of a half-step godly emperor. To be able to repel 4 lesser godly emperors, one's cultivation must be at least at the godly emperor realm. Moreover, he can make the Imperial Beast Sect treat him with courtesy. According to my guess, he might have the cultivation of a peak emperor god." Hearing Yao Huang's words, the cloaked man nodded. It seems that during the years when the Divine Court disappeared, the Divine Realm really has many talents. Peak Godly Emperor was on the same level as him at his peak. However, I hope he won't get into a conflict with us this time. The cloaked man muttered to himself. "Don't worry, my lord, we must obtain the heaven-suppressing spoon. The Medicine Sovereign will not let anyone take it." As he spoke, Medicine Emperor spat out the straw in his mouth onto the ground. The straw fell to the ground and turned into ashes. At the same time, Xiao Changtian and Chu Yiren entered the forest after leaving the School of Imperial Beasts. Hachio! Hachio! Xiao Changtian had sneezed countless times today. Rubbing his nose, Xiao Changtian turned to Chu Yiren and said slowly. Yiren, do you remember anything? Have you found the location of the spoon? Chu Yiren was currently surveying the surroundings. When she heard Xiao Changtian's words, she slowly responded. Senior, it should be in front. On the way, Chu Yiren slowly said to Xiao Changtian. Senior Feng, why didn't you sell that head of yours just now? In Chu Yiren's opinion, Xiao Changtian had been enjoying the hot pot in the courtyard recently, and the Qingtian yellow ox was a good ingredient. Hearing Chu Yiren's words, Xiao Changtian smiled at her and said. I don't usually accept gifts from others. This girl must be wondering why the old man was so enthusiastic about giving the cow to her. However, that was the foundation of their survival. What would he do if he wanted someone else? Moreover, it was unreasonable for him to nag and accept gifts from others. Chu Yiren's face lit up when she heard Xiao Changtian's words. Senior didn't accept gifts from others casually. A while ago, he accepted the refrigerator he made himself. It seemed that he still had a certain place in Senior's heart. At the thought of this, the sense of danger Chu Yiren felt because of Xiao Qianqian started to dissipate. As they spoke, Chu Yiren brought Xiao Changtian to a cave. When they arrived before the cave, a green light flashed across Chu Yiren's eyes. Senior, the spoon should be in there. Chu Yiren pointed at the cave, speaking slowly to Xiao Changtian. Chapter 434, Chapter 434, Yi Tian Flees, 1. Chapter 434, Yi Tian Flees, 1. Great Desolate Immortal Continent, Imperial Beast Sect. In the Imperial Beast Sect's dungeon, Yi Tian was lying on the ground. Her clothes were all stuck to various stolen goods, and she was no longer as gorgeous as before. At this moment, a guard of the Imperial Beast Gate arrived at the entrance of the dungeon. Hey, it's time to eat. The guard held a plate in his hand and looked at Yi Tian. Time to eat, did you hear me? Seeing that Yi Tian was ignoring him, the guard called out once more. Seeing that Yi Tian didn't react, the guard placed the plate on the ground. I'll leave it here. It's none of my business if it dies. After placing the plate on the ground, the guard walked away. As immortal cultivators, they could have abstained from eating. However, the chains inside the Imperial Beast Gate's dungeon could seal a person's acupuncture points, preventing them from circulating their true essence. At this time, if he did not eat to replenish himself, there was a possibility of losing his life. The guard came to his partner and sat down at the table. One of his companions slowly said to him. Why? Our former holy son doesn't want to eat. God knows what's wrong with him today. Don't care about him. He provoked someone he shouldn't have. Ignore him. Let's play our game. As he spoke, the guard waved at his companion. Yi Tian was now a jinx in the school of imperial beasts, and no one cared about him. Meanwhile, in the cell, a white streak of true qi rose from Yi Tian's body. Whoosh! 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 Then, the chains on his hands fell off without warning. Yi Tian slowly opened his eyes, which had turned silver white. Yi Tian sat up and looked at his palm. Fortunately, I planted a soul imprint on this kid. Otherwise, he would have really disappeared. Yi Tian muttered, standing up and waving at the cell door. Bang! The huge prison door was knocked upside down by Yi Tian's attack. The cell door was forcefully destroyed, naturally attracting the attention of the guards. The guards were all on high alert as they approached the cell door, watching Yi Tian break free from the chains. Yi Tian, what do you want? Are you going to betray the sect? The guard who had just delivered food to Yi Tian looked at him with fear. Yi Tian's silver eyes turned to the guard. Following that, a few true essence chains flew out and directly penetrated the guard's body. It's really noisy. That old bastard, Xiao En, dared to throw me into the dungeon with his dog power. Fine, I'll slowly settle the score with you after I get the heaven-suppressing spoon. But you're funny. You occupied such a place and didn't know there was such a treasure here. Tian laughed heartily as he thought of this. However, that witch from the demon spirit sect directly beat me out last time. If you want to get the heaven-suppressing spoon, you still have to plan. After I obtain the heaven-suppressing spoon, I'll recover my strength to its peak. Tian laughed, disappearing from the cell. At the same time, inside the gate of Imperial Beasts, Sean received a message from the guard. His figure immediately turned into a stream of light and flew towards the dungeon. Sect Master. A few of the School of Imperial Beasts elders saw Shaoen's hurried appearance and quickly followed him. When he arrived at the dungeon, Sean saw a few guards on the ground who had already been killed. There were also upside-down cells and broken chains. Tian ran away. An elder of the Imperial Beast sect came to the dungeon and said in shock. With Tian's strength, there was no way he could escape the dungeon. At this time, Sean picked up the broken chain on the ground and said gloomily. Pass down the order to capture Tian. The death of a few guards was a small matter, but Tian was someone Xiao Changtian had ordered to be taken care of. Although Xiao Changtian had already left, they couldn't mess things up. Upon hearing Shaoen's words, an elder from the School of Imperial Beasts immediately went out to carry out the order. At this time, Shaoen also said to the Sect of Imperial Beasts elder beside me, have the disciples who went to spread the news returned? Those disciples were sent out to spread the news that Xiao Changtian and the School of Imperial Beasts had become in-laws. After knowing that Xiao Changtian had not slept with Xiao Qianqian, Shaoen immediately ordered his men to gather them back. The Sect of Imperial Beasts elder understood Shaoen's words and replied. Sect Master, they have all returned. Inside the cave. Under Chu Yiren's lead, Xiao Changtian slowly entered a cave. The cave looked more like a passageway with narrow sides. Moreover, it was pitch black. Only a little light could be seen at the end of the cave. At this moment, Chu Yiren pointed at the light. Senior, I can feel that the spoon you want is right there. Xiao Changtian saw where Chu Yiren was pointing and nodded. Come, follow behind me. Due to the narrow cave, the deeper they went, the cave could only accommodate one person. Xiao Changtian said slowly to Chu Yiren as he walked in front. At this moment, Chu Yiren heard Xiao Changtian's words, and her face turned slightly red. He took the initiative to hold Xiao Changtian's hand and interlocked his fingers. The two of them walked slowly towards the spot of light, one after the other. Alpha, who was walking at the back, looked at the light in front of him. His eyes flickered, and then he sent a message to the Chaos Ant on Xiao Changtian's shoulder. Ant, I'll leave Master to you. Got it. You don't have to say anything more. The Chaos Ant slowly poked its head out from Xiao Changtian's shoulder and looked at Alpha. Following that, Xiao Changtian and Chu Yiren slowly walked towards the light spot. At this moment, the silver light on the Chaos Ant's antennae flashed. Xiao Changtian and Chu Yiren's figures were enveloped by a silver light. With a swoosh, he disappeared from the cave. In Xiao Changtian's eyes, all of this was just a step forward. In a flash of silver light, Xiao Changtian and Chu Yiren appeared beside a field. At this moment, Xiao Changtian looked at the scene in front of him, his eyes revealing a trace of disbelief. Was this the legendary paradise? At this moment, in front of Xiao Changtian, a few topless men were fighting in front of a few wooden stakes. It looked like he was training his martial arts. Under a big tree inside, there were a few children playing. He had only walked through a cave and discovered this small world. It was hard to imagine that there was such a place in the forest. Standing beside Xiao Changtian, Chu Yiren's body felt as though it was connected to the world. A green light rose from his body. Chapter 435, Chapter 435, This Shangri-La is really different, Chapter 435, this Shangri-La is really different, the folks are really simple. In the small world of the great desolate immortal continent. In front of Shao Changtian and the others, a few topless men saw Shao Changtian. Just as he was about to walk over and question her. Then, he saw the green glow on Chu Yiren's body. It's Senior Demon God. Senior Demon God has returned. Quickly report to Vice Sect Master Yao Yao. The few men said excitedly, and then they quickly ran into the village. Shao Changtian saw the men running inside after seeing him. There was some doubt on his face. Those people wouldn't treat him as an intruder, right? At this moment, Shao Changtian turned to look at Chu Yiren. Yiren, the spoon you mentioned is in this village? The green glow around Chu Yiren had already disappeared. She nodded in agreement when she heard Shao Changtian's words. Senior, the heaven-suppressing spoon is here. When she first came in, she had also awakened many memories. This was the demon spirit sect, a force she had established before. After he disappeared, his former handmaiden, Yao Yao Ling, followed his will. He moved the demon spirit sect to a small space and waited for his return. Previously, the demon god's clone wanted to kill him and become his main body because he wanted to obtain the resources here. It could be said that some demon gods had obtained all the resources since their birth. Heaven Suppression Spoon. When Shao Changtian heard Chu Yiren's words, he also committed this name to memory. The name Heaven Suppressing Spoon sounded quite domineering, but he didn't know if it could be used to stir-fry vegetables. After a while, they arrived at the village entrance, which was in front of Shao Changtian and the others. Hundreds of people gathered, and the leader was a woman in red. The woman was tall and curvaceous. Her long hair fell to her waist. Tears welled up in her eyes when she saw Chu Yiren beside Shao Changtian. Then, he waved his hand and was about to lead the group of demon spirit sect cultivators behind him to kneel down. At that moment, a green light flashed across Chu Yiren's body. A green light floated out from Chu Yiren's body. Yao Yaoling and the others instantly felt a force holding them up, preventing them from kneeling. Chu Yiren also knew that Shao Changtian was playing around in the mortal world and didn't like the rules and regulations of cultivators. It didn't matter if other sects didn't know about it, but the sect he established definitely couldn't disturb his senior's cultivation. Following that, Chu Yiren took a step forward as well, smiling at Yao Yaoling and the others. Everyone, I'm back. Following that, a green streak of light flew out from Chu Yiren's fingertip and entered Yao Yaoling's glabella. Immediately, Chu Yiren told Yao Yaoling about her reincarnation and her encounter with Shao Changtian. After Yao Yaoling digested the information in her mind, she nodded at Chu Yiren. His eyes were filled with respect as he looked at Shao Changtian. At this moment, the demon spirit sect cultivators also transmitted their voices to Yao Yaoling. He asked Chu Yiren why she didn't let them kneel just now. At that moment, Yao Yaoling also slowly transmitted her voice to everyone in the sect. Everyone, it's all thanks to the senior beside her that Lord Demon God has been able to recover and come here again over the years. Lord Demon God said that senior is tempering his heart in the mortal world and doesn't like those red tape. Everyone, don't disturb his cultivation. Yao Yaoling's words were like a huge rock thrown into a calm lake. Immediately, the cultivators of the demon spirit sect looked at each other. Lord Demon God's strength is heaven-defying. There's actually someone who has been called a senior by Lord Demon God. His strength is even above Lord Demon God's. He is also the benefactor of the Demon God. Since he is the benefactor of the Demon God, then he is our benefactor. Right. We have to cooperate with senior's cultivation, or else we'll disturb senior. Then, the demon spirit sect cultivators waved at Shao Changtian. Senior, my hen just laid 2 eggs. Do you want to come to my house for dinner? Shao Changtian was stunned when he saw the cultivator waving at him. Then, he said. All right, thank you. At this moment, the other demon spirit sect cultivators also cursed in their hearts. Yao Yi actually took out the order that his Shining had just placed. He was really generous. At this time, the other demon spirit sect cultivators also said to Shao Chang Tian, "Senior, I still have 2 bottles of immortal fruit wine that have been treasured for hundreds of years. Senior, and my family." For a moment, almost all of the hundreds of demon spirit sect cultivators in front of Shao Chang Tian extended their invitations to him. Chu Yiren nodded in satisfaction when she saw the actions of her disciples. It seemed that the atmosphere of the demon spirit sect hadn't changed much after he had been away for so many years. At this moment, Shao Chang Tian had also arrived beside Chu Yiren. He said slowly, "Yiren, did you tell them?" Seeing how enthusiastic they were towards him, it was obvious that Chu Yiren had told them about him. Chu Yiren smiled sweetly at Shao Chang Tian when she heard him. "As expected, I can't hide anything from Senior." "Senior, you won't mind, right?" Seeing Chu Yiren like this, Shao Chang Tian also pinched the tip of her nose. "You're the most mischievous." This girl was usually carefree. If she was sold, she would not know. When the demon spirit sect cultivators saw Shao Chang Tian and Chu Yiren's actions, they were shocked. "I feel that Senior's strength is unparalleled. He might be the master of our demon spirit sect in the future." "What's possible?" "I think it's just that Senior is powerful and handsome. He's completely a good match for Lord Demon God." A female cultivator of the demon spirit sect said slowly, "Senior, come to my house for dinner later." After that, the female cultivator walked up to Shao Chang Tian and said slowly, "Senior, I think it's getting late. I'll take you to eat now." "Wow, Yao Wu beat us to it." Seeing Yao Wu's actions, the other demon spirit sect cultivators quickly followed. "Senior, let's go to my house. I have good wine." "Senior." For a moment, Shao Chang Tian was surrounded by the demon spirit sect cultivators. Shao Chang Tian looked at the group of people around him and sighed. This Shangri-La was really different. The people here were really simple and honest. As for Chu Yiren, she didn't say anything when she saw the actions of her disciples. She naturally heard what they said just now. Now, she looked at Shao Changtian's face, which was slightly red. At this moment, Yao Yao Ling had also arrived by Chu Yiren's side. "Lord Demon God, it's good that you're back." "Yes, yes. I still have some memories that one need to digest." "Senior, please serve me. Bring him to the heaven-suppressing spoon." Chu Yiren had also awakened some of her memories when she first arrived. He needed to find a place to digest it, and Yao Yao Ling used to be his maid. Chu Yiren trusted her, so she entrusted her with the task of bringing Shao Chang Tian to retrieve the heaven-suppressing spoon. Chapter 436, Chapter 436, Senior, if you like it, I can give it to you, 1. Chapter 436, Senior, if you like it, I can give it to you, 1. Great desolate immortal continent, in front of the cave behind the imperial beast Sect's mountain. A stream of light flew across the sky. Yi Tian appeared in front of the cave, his eyes completely silver-white. Yi Tian's silver-white eyes gazed at the cave before him as he opened his palm. "That woman, Yao Yao Ling, is really too difficult to talk to. However, for the sake of revenge, I still have to go in again. With the heaven-suppressing spoon, I'll have the power to protect myself against that heaven-swallowing dog." As he spoke, a silver mist rose from Yi Tian's body. He covered his entire body and flew into the cave. Whoosh! Yi Tian walked through the cave and arrived in front of the dot of light. With a swoosh, he entered the small space where the demon spirit sect was located. After arriving at the demon spirit sect's small space, Yi Tian looked around. The feeling of having a body is great. It's much easier to conceal my aura. However, we should find the heaven-suppressing spoon first before making any plans. With that, Yi Tian used the silver-white mist to cover his body and flew toward the demon spirit sect. At the same time, on a small path in the demon spirit sect, Xiao Changtian and Yao Yaoling walked side by side. Yao Yaoling led Xiao Changtian forward. After Chu Yuan gave the order, the demon spirit sect cultivators had no choice but to let Yao Yaoling entertain Xiao Changtian. Hence, Yao Yaoling followed Chu Yuan's instructions and brought Xiao Changtian to where the heaven-suppressing spoon was. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also looked at Yao Yaoling in front of him and said slowly, "Miss, what's your name? You look quite familiar with Yuan." "Yuan, this girl." After bringing him here, she said that she wanted to catch up with the old times and let such a girl bring him along. Along the way, this girl didn't speak much, and the atmosphere was awkward. Yao Yaoling, who was leading the way, also slowly responded to Xiao Changtian's words. "Senior, my name is Yao Yaoling." "Yao Yaoling? Are you going to call the police?" Xiao Changtian almost blurted out when he heard Yao Yaoling's name. "Call the police?" When Yao Yaoling heard Xiao Changtian's words, she placed her hand on the tip of her nose and revealed a puzzled expression. "No, no." Xiao Changtian also knew that he had just said something that he only knew in his previous life. This girl's name was so coincidental. Oh. Seeing that Xiao Changtian had no intention of explaining, Yao Yaoling didn't continue asking. Instead, he brought Xiao Changtian and continued walking towards the heaven-suppressing spoon. At this moment, a white shadow flew past Xiao Changtian and Yao Yaoling slowly. Yi Tian's hand glowed with a white light as he stared ahead. "The heaven-suppressing spoon should be in front of us." After saying this, Yi Tian continued to fly forward. Then, he saw Xiao Changtian and Yao Yaoling from the corner of his eye. Seeing Xiao Changtian, Yi Tian instinctively dodged to the side. He hid behind a rock and looked at the two people in front of him. Why was that woman, Yao Yaoling, walking together with this person? Yi Tian also looked around Xiao Changtian. Fortunately, the heaven-swallowing dog wasn't here. Otherwise, with my current state, I might have been discovered. This person came here and in this direction. Could it be that he was also heading toward the heaven-suppressing spoon? With this thought in mind, Yi Tian moved slowly, quietly following behind Xiao Changtian and Yao Yaoling. On the way, Xiao Changtian had a smile on his face after a simple conversation with Yao Yaoling. "Miss Yao Yaoling, you don't have to be so restrained. We can chat more." Xiao Changtian started to talk to Yao Yaoling after he heard her name. However, it was obvious that this girl had been staying here all this time and had basically never gone out. So it was understandable that she was a little shy since it was her first time here as an outsider. Yao Yaoling nodded after hearing Xiao Changtian's words. "All right, senior." From Chu Yuan, she knew that Xiao Changtian was a hermit expert. If senior was willing to give him some pointers, he might have another breakthrough on his cultivation path. With this thought in mind, Yao Yaoling slowed down her pace and slowly walked alongside Xiao Changtian. At this moment, Xiao Changtian was also looking at the surrounding flowers and houses. "Miss Yao Yaoling, do the people in your village like to plant flowers and plants? Where do you want me to go now?" "Flowers and plants?" Yao Yaoling followed Xiao Changtian's gaze and saw him staring at the spirit herbs in the cave abode of the demon spirit sect cultivators. These were spirit herbs that were hard to find outside. They were of great help to cultivation. However, in senior's eyes, they were just flowers and plants by the roadside. Yao Yaoling had heard of it before. After some experts cultivated to a certain realm, spirit medicines were no longer effective to them. Therefore, spirit medicines were nothing to them. Senior has indeed reached the legendary realm. I really look forward to Senior's guidance. Then, he remembered that Xiao Changtian was cultivating his heart in the mortal world, so he had to call everything ordinary. Yao Yaoling also slowly said to Xiao Changtian. Yes. The people in the village all like to plant flowers and plants. Yes, It's not bad. I've wanted to do this before. Xiao Changtian nodded his head when he heard Yao Yao Ling's words. He remembered that in his previous life, Xiao Changtian also wanted to plant some flowers and plants when he had time. This way, not only could it cultivate one's character, but it was also good for one's health. In the past, Yao Yao Ling couldn't help but ask when she heard Xiao Changtian's words. A pair of big watery eyes looked at him, filled with curiosity. She also wanted to know what the life of a powerhouse like Xiao Changtian was like in the past. Yes, but unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to do it. Xiao Changtian slowly responded when he saw Yao Yao's reaction. Hearing Xiao Changtian's regretful words, Yao Yao Ling thought that she had brought up some bad memories. He quickly said, "Senior, if you like it, I can give you the ones I planted." Xiao Changtian smiled when he heard Yao Yao Ling's words. "Thank you, but there's no need for that now. By the way, you haven't told me where you're taking me yet." Yao Yao Ling saw that Xiao Changtian's tone had returned to normal, and her face was filled with joy. It seemed that Senior didn't blame him just now. "Senior, let's go get a spoon." Xiao Changtian also said to Yao Yao Ling when he heard about the spoon, "All right, that girl Iran told you, right? I'll have to trouble you to lead the way." Yao Yao Ling also pointed forward when she heard Xiao Changtian's words. "Senior, we'll be there soon." Behind Yao Yao Ling and Xiao Changtian, Yi Tian naturally heard their conversation. Chapter 437, Stealing the Heaven-Suppressing Spoon. Chapter 437, Stealing the Heaven-Suppressing Spoon. Small space, Demon Spirit Sect. Yi Tian hid behind a rock behind Xiao Changtian and Yao Yao Ling, his face ashen. Listening to Xiao Changtian and Yao Yao Ling's conversation, Yi Tian was furious. The last time he had brought Yi Tian to the Demon Spirit Sect, he had asked for help. That Yao Yao spirit didn't give him a good look at all. Not only was she unwilling to give him a single spirit herb, but she also didn't want to give it to him. He remembered that when he had asked Yao Yao Ling for a lingji grass, the people of the Demon Spirit Sect had almost chased him out of the door. But now, in front of Xiao Changtian, what could this Yao Yao Ling say? If Xiao Changtian liked it, not only would she not charge him, she could even give him the spiritual herbs. Was this the benefit of being powerful? Yi Tian looked at Xiao Changtian with envy. Also, what did Yao Yao Ling just say? She wanted Xiao Changtian to find a spoon. Needless to say, it was definitely the heaven-suppressing spoon. Didn't the Demon Spirit Sect say that no one could touch the heaven-suppressing spoon except for their demon god? Why did he act like he could take anything he wanted in front of Xiao Changtian? Yi Tian thought to himself, his heart filled with resentment. Seeing Xiao Changtian and Yao Yao Ling continue to move forward, he immediately followed them. At this moment, Xiao Changtian and Yao Yao Ling's conversation slowly drifted over. "That spoon is also a treasure to you, right?" Xiao Changtian stood beside Yao Yao Ling and spoke to her slowly. When he came, he had guessed that this spoon was a half-finished immortal cultivator spiritual weapon. To the mortals in Yao Yao Ling's village, it was likely that they would treat it as a treasure. Yao Yao Ling nodded her head when she heard Xiao Changtian's words. Yes. Ever since the establishment of our village, the heaven suppression spoon has been in our village. Hearing Yao Yao Ling's words, Xiao Changtian felt a little troubled. The purpose of his trip was precisely this heaven-suppressing spoon. However, it seemed that the village treated it as a treasure. It seemed a little difficult for him to take it away. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian also said tentatively, "Miss Yao Yao Ling, I want to borrow your village's spoon. Is it convenient?" Although this Yao Yao Ling wanted to bring him to get that spoon, Xiao Changtian wasn't sure if they were willing to let him take them away. At this time, Yi Tian pricked up his ears. He was very concerned about the news regarding the heaven-suppressing spoon. Now, he could only hope that Yao Yao Ling would reject Xiao Changtian. After all, with the strength of the heaven-swallowing dog beside Tian, he wasn't confident in snatching it. When Yao Ling heard Tian's words, she pointed at a house in front of them. Of course it's convenient. Senior, we've already arrived. The heaven-suppressing spoon is in the room in front. Tian was stunned when he heard Yao Ling's words. He had thought that the villagers treated the heaven-suppressing spoon as a treasure, so he had to negotiate with them. He didn't expect them to agree so quickly. It seemed that the people in this village were more honest than he had imagined. With this thought in mind, Tian said to Yao Ling. Thank you, Miss Yao Ling. When Yao Ling heard Tian's words, her figure also walked towards the direction of the house. Senior, I'll go get it for you now. Chu Yiren had personally given him the task of handing the heaven-suppressing spoon to Tian. Yao Ling didn't dare to be negligent. Even if Tian didn't want it, she had to give it to him. Tian, who had been eavesdropping from behind, almost burst into a torrent of abuse. He had originally thought that Yao Ling was only saying that because of Tian's strength. Moreover, that senior had asked for her opinion, and it was obvious that he did not have to take the heaven-suppressing spoon. He didn't expect Yao to become such a bootlicker. The other party did not particularly want it, but he took the initiative to get it for them. Thinking back to when he was at his peak, he did not receive such treatment in the divine world. Tian couldn't help but compare himself to Su Qin. Compared to him at his peak, this person was dressed in a green robe and had an imposing appearance. He seemed to be more handsome than him. No, in the divine realm, what was the use of being handsome? Strength was everything. While Tian was comparing, Yao Ling slowly walked out of the room. He held a silver spoon in his hand and walked to Tian. Senior, the heaven-suppressing spoon is here. Yao Ling's voice slowly entered Tian's ears, and his mind began to spin. He looked at the heaven-suppressing spoon that was about to fall into Tian's hands. No, I can't let this heaven-suppressing spoon fall into that person's hands. Otherwise, he would have no chance to get him again in the future. Without the heaven-suppressing spoon, how could he take revenge? With this thought in mind, Tian condensed a massive white orb of light. He threw it at a spot in front of Tian. Bang! The ball of light exploded in the air with a loud bang. This loud noise attracted the attention of Yao Ling and Tian. The two of them could not help but look forward. There was an invasion. This was the first thought in Yao Ling's mind. She then looked at the heaven-suppressing spoon in her hand. He seemed to have sensed something and said to Tian. Senior, I think someone is here to steal the heaven-suppressing spoon. Tian nodded his head when he heard Yao Ling's words. Looking at this demonic spirit's reaction, it was obvious that they were not familiar with this situation. Miss Yao Ling didn't panic at all when she encountered such a situation. She was also very calm. However, it was understandable. After all, there were people who would naturally be interested in this treasure. At this moment, a few demon spirit sect cultivators came to Yao Ling and Tian's side. When she arrived beside Yao Ling, the few demon spirit sect cultivators transmitted their voices to her. Vice sect leader, what happened? I suspect that someone is here to steal the heaven-suppressing spoon. Yao Wu, take senior to rest first. The rest of you, follow me to search. At this moment, Yao Ling seemed to have recovered her demeanor as the vice sect master as she transmitted her voice to everyone. Following that, Yao Ling walked up to Tian. Senior, I'm sorry that something unexpected happened. I'll have to trouble Senior to go to Yao Wu's house to rest. I'll go find Senior after I'm done. Tian naturally didn't have any objections after hearing Yao Ling's words. Since he had come to the village, he naturally had to do as the locals did. However, Tian still said, "Do you need my help? After all, if you wanted to borrow a spoon from someone, it would be nice to let Alpha do the job of catching a thief." When Yao Ling heard Xiao Changtian's words, she smiled at him. Senior, we can solve it ourselves. We're really sorry to disturb you. Xiao Changtian didn't say anything else after hearing what Yao Ling said. Yi Tian, who was hiding behind a rock, also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Xiao Changtian didn't make a move. Otherwise, it wouldn't be easy for him to escape. Chapter 438, Chapter 438, Demon Spirit Array, 1. Chapter 438, Demon Spirit Array, 1. Small space, Demon Spirit Sect. Yi Tian hid behind a rock, examining his palm. The silver-white mist that was attached to it had already dissipated a lot. He had used up a lot of his primeval essence to cast that ball of light just now in order to not be discovered. Now, the silver-white color in his eyes was a little dimmer than before. In this state, even though we can prevent the heaven-suppressing spoon from falling into that person's hands. But I still have to find a place to hide. Yi Tian muttered as he gathered the last of his true qi and flew to the side. In front of the house, Yao Wu brought Xiao Changtian to rest. Yao Ling also issued orders. Senior is the benefactor of the demon god. Our benefactor encountered such a situation on the first day he came to our demon spirit sect. You know what to do, right? Hearing Yao Ling's words, the demon spirit sect cultivators were filled with righteous indignation. Xiao Changtian was someone they thought would become the husband of the demon god and the master of the demon spirit sect. Now that something like this had happened to the demon spirit sect, wouldn't this make Senior look down on their demon spirit sect? Vice Sect Master, don't worry. No matter which bastard it is, I will definitely find him. Us too. If we can't find him, we're willing to die to apologize. Everyone looked furious. At this moment, a voice came from the crowd. Vice Sect Leader, I think we should activate the Demon Spirit Array. Hearing this voice, all the Demon Spirit Sect cultivators present were stunned. The Demon Spirit Array was the ancestral array of their Demon Spirit Sect. Once the Demon Spirit Array was opened, nothing could escape his tracking and killing. However, the price of activating the Demon Spirit Array was very high. Not only did it consume a lot of resources, but it could only be activated once every 100 years. Unless it was a life and death situation, it would never be activated. In the history of the Demon Spirit Sect, the Demon Spirit Array had only been activated once. When Yao Ling heard this voice, she hesitated for a moment. At this moment, a voice came from above. Activate the Demon Spirit Array. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Yiren's figure slowly appeared in front of everyone. When they saw Chu Yiren, the Demon Spirit Sect cultivators said in unison, Lord Demon God. Then, a Demon Spirit Sect cultivator said, I think that the Demon God is right. Activate the Demon Spirit Array. Since that guy dared to attack Senior, it's unforgivable. Yes, Senior is the great benefactor of the Demon Spirit Sect. If you dare to attack our benefactor, you must use the Demon Spirit Array to entertain us. Soon, the Demon Spirit Sect cultivators agreed. At this moment, Yao Ling walked over to Chu Yiren's side. Sect Master, I'll go prepare to activate the Demon Spirit Array. It wasn't that she hadn't thought about activating the Demon Spirit Array. It's just that the relationship with the Great Demon Spirit Array is too great, so she didn't say it out loud. Seeing that the Demon Spirit Sect cultivators had agreed, Yao Ling's face naturally lit up and she immediately went down to make arrangements. When Chu Yiren heard Yao Ling's words, she nodded in agreement. Back in her cave abode, Chu Yiren had also finished digesting the memories she had awakened. However, just as he was about to go find Xiao Changtian, he heard a loud noise outside. And it came from the direction where the heaven-suppressing spoon was stored. Chu Yiren immediately rushed over. Soon, the cultivators of the Demon Spirit Sect sat cross-legged in their cave abodes. He placed the spirit herbs and spiritual herbs that had been planted in his cave abode for many years in front of him. He muttered something. Then, the cave abodes of the cultivators in the demon spirit sect were built one after another. As if they had sensed something, they all connected. Soon, it covered the entire demon spirit sect. At this moment, in Yao Wu's courtyard, Xiao Changtian and Yao Wu were sitting on two sides of a wooden table in the courtyard. Because he had to entertain Xiao Changtian, Yao Wu didn't need to participate in the activation of the demon spirit array. The two of them drank the immortal fruit brew on the table and ate, talking and laughing. At this moment, Yao Wu looked up into the sky. In the air, streams of true essence slowly gathered. A dark green eye with an ancient aura was slowly forming. This is the great demon spirit array. It was rumored that once the demon eye was opened, all the enemies would have nowhere to hide and their bodies and souls would be destroyed. Don't worry, we'll catch him soon, Xiao Changtian said slowly when he saw Yao Wu staring at the sky. Yao Wu was probably worried that the thief had stolen something from the village. However, based on his many years of experience, he could tell that Miss Yao Yao Ling was calm and collected. It was obvious that he was very confident in catching the thief. Therefore, if nothing unexpected happened, it would be difficult for the thief to escape. Yao Wu nodded slowly when he heard Xiao Changtian's words. This was the first time she had seen this demon spirit array. However, with Senior's strength, he was naturally able to predict the future. Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Yao Wu also picked up his wine cup and continued to eat and drink with Xiao Changtian. At this time, Yi Tian was hiding in a corner of the demon spirit sect. The silver-white eyes looked up at the sky, feeling as if a great terror was brewing in the sky. Yi Tian began to speculate as he looked up at the dark green demonic eye. It was rumored that the demon spirit sect had a demon spirit array. When it was activated, a pair of demon eyes would frighten all the experts in the world. Even the godly emperor had died in it. However, the price of opening it was also extremely high. He was just stopping them from handing the heaven-suppressing spoon to the owner of the heaven-swallowing dog. They wouldn't go so far as to activate the demon spirit array to deal with him, right? After consoling himself, Yi Tian looked up again. The blurry demon eye in the air was now clearly visible. The demon eye was dark green in color, and it looked like it was about to form. Wow, it really is the great demon spirit array. Yi Tian panicked when he saw the dark green eye. Now, he had to wonder who Xiao Changtian was from the demon spirit sect. Could the owner of the sky-swallowing dog be the ancestor of the demon spirit sect? No, it should be higher than the ancestor's level. He had only stopped him a little, and he hadn't even done anything substantial, yet he wanted to use the demon spirit array to deal with him. Even if the ancestors returned, there was no need for this. Who was the owner of the sky-swallowing dog to them? At this moment, the dark green demon eye in the air had also finished forming. Seeing the demon eye slowly open, Yi Tian ran through all sorts of escape methods in his mind. However, all of them were dead without exception. What to do, what to do? Yi Tian's mind kept spinning. Was he going to use the same trick again? At this moment, Chu Yiren, who was the eye of the formation, spoke slowly. Demon eye, activate. Kill them. As Chu Yiren's voice trailed off, her demonic eyes also shot out beams of light, enveloping the area below. Chapter 439, Chapter 439, Send It Back, 1. Chapter 439, Send It Back, 1. Small space, Demon Spirit Sect. The dark green light emitted by the demon eye almost covered the entire demon spirit sect. Yi Tian looked at the incoming light and a white chain flew out from his hand. The white chain collided with the dark green light. The white chains dissipated, turning dark green as well. The light continued to shoot towards Yi Tian. As expected of the legendary demon spirit array. This power wasn't just for show. Yi Tian looked at the incoming light and dodged it, trying to escape to the exit of the demon spirit sect. At the same time that demon eye discovered Yi Tian, Chu Yiren, who was at the eye of the formation, had a cold expression on her face. So it's you. I didn't expect you to still be alive. Back at the School of Imperial Beasts, Chu Yiren had seen the heaven-swallowing dog kill him. They hadn't expected this old man to possess Yi Tian's body and be reborn. Following that, Chu Yiren's hands began to change their gestures. Then, the dark green light emitted by the demon eye suddenly formed a huge net. It's heading towards Yi Tian and covering him. Whoosh! Yi Tian dodged another dark green beam. He landed on the ground, his face pale and panting. He was already lucky to be able to dodge the attacks of the dark green light rays several times in a row. At this moment, the true essence in his body was exhausted. Facing the huge net in the air, he had no way to dodge. He had to use the old method. Yi Tian sighed inwardly, seemingly resigned to his fate. Yi Tian allowed the net to envelop him, and then he fell to the ground. The net bound Yi Tian, and the light on it continued to absorb his vitality. Soon, Yi Tian was on the ground, unable to move. Then, a few demon spirit sect cultivators appeared beside him and took him away. At the same time, in the courtyard of the fifth demon, Yao Wu received the news from the demon spirit sect cultivators and said to Xiao Changtian excitedly, "Senior, we've already caught the thief." Xiao Changtian smiled when he saw Yao Wu's happy expression. "How is it? I didn't lie to you, right? This thief can't escape." On the other side, Chu Yiren and Yao Yao Ling arrived in front of Yi Tian. Yao Yao Ling looked at Yi Tian and slowly said to Chu Yiren, "Lord Demon God, I've seen this person before. I don't know why he came to the demon spirit sect. You even tried to build a relationship with our demon spirit sect for the sole purpose of losing the heaven-suppressing spoon." Chu Yiren's face turned cold when she heard Yao Yao Ling's words. This guy actually dared to covet what Senior wanted. It was unforgivable. Yao Yao Ling saw Chu Yiren's expression and said slowly, "Lord Demon God, this person is already dead, right? Why don't this subordinate take him down and bury him?" Yao Yao used her spiritual sense to probe Yi Tian's body and found that his vitality had completely dissipated. Hearing Yao Yao Ling's words, Chu Yiren reached out to stop her. "Wait, let's see. That fellow was able to revive after being killed by Senior Heaven's swallowing dog, which meant that he still had some tricks up his sleeve. It was better to wait for Senior to come and take a look personally." At this moment, Yao Wu and Xiao Changtian slowly came to the front of the crowd. "How was it? The thief was caught. Who was it?" Xiao Changtian came to the front of everyone and said slowly, "Yi Tian was bound by the net. Isn't this person the holy son of that old man's family?" When Chu Yiren heard Xiao Changtian's words, she turned her head slowly towards him. "Senior, what do you think?" Xiao Changtian was stunned when he heard Yao Yao Ling's words. "Wasn't this guy here to steal your things? Why would he ask an outsider like me?" Seeing Xiao Changtian's unsightly expression, Yao Yao Ling was also very nervous. This person coveted Senior's things, so he naturally asked Senior. Wouldn't this make Senior unhappy? At this moment, Chu Yiren turned to Xiao Changtian and said slowly, "Senior, why don't we bury him?" Hearing Chu Yiren's words, Xiao Changtian was shocked. This girl was usually carefree, but she was really bold. He stole something, and you still want to bury him. At this moment, a faint wisp of soul remnant slowly moved in Yi Tian's abdomen. It was the remnant soul of Yi Tian's master. When he had been killed by his enemy, he had entrusted a wisp of his soul to Yi Tian. Now that he was killed by the demon spirit array, he naturally wanted to use the same method to escape. However, he would have to sleep for a long time after he escaped. At this time, Xiao Changtian's hand slowly patted Yi Tian's body, hitting his abdomen. At this time, Yi Tian's master's remnant soul also felt the world around him darken as the space around him began to shrink. "My soul remnant art can even hide from the great demon spirit array. How could you discover me?" Who are you? No. With Xiao Changtian's slap, Yi Tian's master's remnant soul had completely dissipated, with no chance of rebirth. Then, Yi Tian's body also released a cloud of gas. When Chu Yuren and the others saw the gas, they exchanged glances. Fortunately, there was a senior. Otherwise, this fellow would have run away again. Then, Xiao Changtian stood up from the ground. This guy should be sent to that old man. He had also checked just now. Although this fellow had been captured, his vitality was not completely gone. It was just that he might become a vegetable in the future. Xiao Changtian couldn't say anything. However, this guy knew his background. It was better to send him back. He didn't want those old men to worry. Chu Yiren nodded in agreement. Then, he glanced at Yao Yao Ling beside him. Then, Yao Yao Ling said to the two people beside her. Yao Yi, send him to the Imperial Beast Gate. Having lived in this small space all year round, Yao Yao Ling and the others naturally knew about the Imperial Beast Sect. Two demon spirit sect cultivators walked out. Taking Yi Tian away, they headed towards the Imperial Beast Sect. At this time, Chu Yuren also said to Xiao Changtian slowly. Senior, let's go get a spoon. Xiao Changtian glanced at Yao Yao Ling when he heard Chu Yuren's words. He and Chu Yuren were considered outsiders to the village, so they had to seek their opinions. Then, Yao Yao Ling immediately walked between the two of them. Senior, let me bring you there. Fortunately, the villagers were really hospitable. Xiao Changtian looked at Yao Yao Ling, who was already leading the way, and sighed in his heart. Imperial Beast Sect Mountain Gate. At this time, Yao 1 and Yao 2 slowly placed Yi Tian in front of the Imperial Beast Sect. As soon as Yi Tian appeared, Xiao En followed suit. Seeing Yi Tian on the ground, Xiao En was also startled. He turned to Yao 1 and Yao 2 and said slowly. The two of you, this is... Senior asked us to bring it over. Demon 1 looked at Xiao En and said. Then, he and Demon 2 disappeared in front of the Imperial Beast Gate. Chapter 440, You're here to pick herbs. Right, 1. Chapter 440, You're here to pick herbs. Right, 1. Degree 7. In the forest of the great desolate immortal continent. Whoosh! 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 In the forest that led to the demon spirit sect's small world, the rustling of flowers and plants in the forest sounded. Two figures also walked through the grass. Two figures landed on the ground, revealing their faces. They were the clones of the Medicine Sovereign and the Divine Court Master who had rushed here from the Imperial Beast Sect's small town. The Medicine Sovereign stood beside the cloaked man, stretching out his hand to block his path. He looked ahead and slowly said, Master, someone is coming. When the cloaked man heard the words of the Demon Sovereign, he immediately understood and walked into the bushes with the Medicine Sovereign. Hiding in the bushes, the Medicine Sovereign and the avatar of the Divine Court Master stared ahead. Following that, the bushes in front of them were flipped over, and Xiao Changtian and Chu Yiren's silhouettes appeared before their eyes. Xiao Changtian was standing beside Chu Yiren, and he said slowly. Yiren, it's all thanks to you that this trip went so smoothly. After borrowing the heaven-suppressing spoon, Xiao Changtian brought Chu Yiren and Yao Yaoling to bid them farewell. After all, the village was considered a paradise, and he could not disturb them for a long time. When Chu Yiren heard Xiao Changtian's words, she smiled back at him. Senior, how good would it be if Yao Yaoling and the others moved to Dayang Town? After he gradually recovered his memory, the demon spirit sect was naturally not suitable to continue staying in that small space. The first place Chu Yiren thought of when moving out was naturally Dayang Town. Putting aside the fact that he lived in Dayang Town, he had many opportunities to interact with Xiao Changtian. With Xiao Changtian's strength alone, the safety of the demon spirit sect wouldn't be a problem if they moved to Dayang Town. Hearing Chu Yiren's words, Xiao Changtian smiled as well. he turned to Chu Yiren and said slowly. If you want them to move to Daang town, they have to agree. Xiao Changtian didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he spoke. What was this girl thinking all day? Why would he move to Daang town when he was living in a paradise? The smile on Chu Yiren's face widened when she heard Xiao Changtian's words. So, if they are willing, they can move to Daang town. Seeing the look of anticipation on Chu Yiren's face, Xiao Changtian shook his head helplessly. Then, he continued walking forward. At this moment, Alpha rubbed against his feet and led him to a bush. Is there something over there? Xiao Changtian looked at Alpha at his feet and followed him. Alpha usually didn't nag her much, but this time he took her away. Something must have happened. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also came to a bush. Here. Xiao Changtian looked at Alpha at his feet and said slowly to him. She saw that Alpha was no longer rubbing against her feet. Xiao Changtian was also prepared to walk into the bushes. At this moment, the grass rustled, the medicine sovereign and the cloaked man appeared in front of Xiao Changtian. Seeing two people suddenly appear in front of him, Xiao Changtian couldn't help but take a few steps back. Seeing the bamboo basket behind Yao Huang, Xiao Changtian slowly said to them. Are you here to pick herbs? The bamboo basket behind the white-haired old man was filled with some medicinal herbs. It was obvious that he had come to the mountains to collect medicinal herbs. When the medicine sovereign heard Xiao Changtian's words, he cupped his fists towards him. Yes, we came to the mountains to pick herbs. At this moment, Chu Yiren had also arrived beside Xiao Changtian. Senior, what's wrong? Following which, when he saw the medicine sovereign and the cloaked man, he frowned. After awakening his memories, his body was much more sensitive to danger than before. These two people gave her a very dangerous feeling. At this moment, Xiao Changtian turned to Chu Yiren and said slowly. It's fine. They came to the mountains to pick herbs. After which, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Yao Huang and the rest. Do you need our help? I know a thing or two about medicinal herbs. Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the medicine sovereign shook his head. Thank you, sir. We can find it ourselves. Their goal for this trip was the heaven-suppressing spoon. How could they let wanting meat follow them? Hearing the medicine sovereign's words, Xiao Changtian waved his hand dismissively before pulling Chu Yiren down the mountain. Since they didn't need it, Xiao Changtian wouldn't help them. After which, Xiao Changtian seemed to have thought of something as he turned his head towards the medicine sovereign and the cloaked man and slowly said. Oh right, we just came from the mountains. Let me remind you that there are quite a lot of thieves in the mountains. You have to be careful. What these farmers were most worried about was that the herbs they had waited for a long time would be plucked by others. And a thief appeared in Yao Yao's spirit village. It was hard to guarantee that the white-haired old man's herbs would not be stolen. With that, Xiao Changtian led Chu Yiren down the mountain. After Xiao Changtian and Chu Yang left, the cloaked clone of the divine court Lord slowly spoke to the medicine sovereign. Medicine sovereign, can you tell how they discovered us? The medicine sovereign shook his head when he heard the words of the avatar. No, but when I checked their auras, I didn't find any true essence on them. It should be immortal. We just happened to bump into him. Upon hearing the medicine sovereign's words, the avatar of the divine court master nodded his head. After which, he held his cloak and slowly said to the Yao Huang. Medicine sovereign, let's hurry up and leave. As the sound of his voice faded, the avatar of the divine court master took the lead and flew towards the direction of Yao Yao Ling's village. The medicine sovereign followed closely behind. When he saw Xiao Changtian, he felt something was wrong. However, he couldn't tell exactly what was wrong. Hence, the avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court brought the medicine sovereign to pay a visit to the demon spirit sect. The heaven-suppressing spoon was related to the revival of the Divine Court. With the heaven-suppressing spoon, it would be much more convenient for them to rebuild the divine court and find the main body. At the same time, in the main hall of the Imperial Beast Sect, Xiao-En sat on a chair in the main hall. On both sides of the main hall stood a group of elders from the School of Imperial Beasts. At this moment, in the middle of the hall, Yi Tian's body, bound by a large net, slowly lay on the ground. Xiao-En pointed at Yi Tian in the center of the hall. I have gathered everyone here because I have something to tell you. Everyone knows the person in the center of the hall. Hearing Xiao-En's words, the group of School of Imperial Beasts elders also looked at the corpse in the center. Sect Master, isn't this Yi Tian? Didn't you say he escaped from the dungeon? He did escape from the dungeon, but he was captured by Senior. When Xiao-En heard the words of the Sect of Imperial Beasts elder, he nodded and stood up from his seat. Chapter 441, Chapter 441, There is no need for the Yi Tian clan to exist. Chapter 441, There is no need for the Yi Tian clan to exist. 1. Great Desolate Immortal Continent, Imperial Beast Sect's main hall. Sean stood up from his seat and slowly walked to the center of the hall. At this moment, in the main hall, the elders of the School of Imperial Beasts were whispering to each other. Senior captured him. It seems this Yi Tian really doesn't know life and death. You dare to provoke Senior after escaping from the dungeon. You really deserve to die. Hearing the whispers around him, Sean also said loudly in the hall. This gathering is naturally related to Yi Tian. Great Elder, how's the investigation going? As soon as Xiao-En finished speaking, an old man walked out from the side of the hall. Sect Master, all the information about Yi Tian's clan is here. As he spoke, the first elder of the School of Imperial Beasts also held a scroll in his hand. Alright, I've called everyone here today to officially announce that the School of Imperial Beasts has officially declared war on the Yi Tian clan. Senior has given us the Imperial Beast Sect painting, and this is a great favor. Yi Tian's clan has repeatedly provoked you, and this is unforgivable. From now on, you will be the enemy of our Imperial Beast Sect. Disciples of the Imperial Beast Sect, from today onwards, put down your duties. There is no need for the Heavenly Leaf clan to exist. Xiao-En's strong voice echoed in the hall. Hearing Xiao-En's words, the elders of the School of Imperial Beasts understood. Sect Master is right, that Yi Tian is no good. He actually dared to attack Senior. Sect Master, let me be the vanguard for this mission. What Yi Tian clan? I've never even heard of them, yet they dare to provoke Senior. They really aren't afraid of death. I'll teach them how to write the word, death. In the hall, the voices of the crusade against Yi Tian's clan echoed. Xiao-En nodded in satisfaction when he heard the words of the Sect of Imperial Beasts elder. When Yao 1 and Yao 2 brought Yi Tian's corpse to the Imperial Beast Sect's entrance, Yi Tian's body was already dead. Sean panicked and thought about it for a while. Senior had sent someone to bring Yi Tian's corpse to him, so he definitely wanted an attitude from him. Although Yi Tian's clan was an unranked clan. But when Yi Tian had offended Senior in the School of Imperial Beasts, he should have dealt with his clan. After Sean came to his senses, he was very dissatisfied with how late he had become. Then, Sean slowly said to the people in the hall. Elders, after today, I don't want to hear the name of the Yi family. Everyone, hurry up and get it done. Hearing Xiao-En's words, the elders of the School of Imperial Beasts also bowed to him. Then, they all walked out of the hall. He called out to his disciples, bringing all kinds of spirit weapons and demon beast mounts. From the School of Imperial Beasts, they were about to attack Yi Tian's clan. That night, Yi Tian's clan was exterminated, with no survivors. Divine World, Great Desolate Immortal Continent. A stream of light flashed in the air, and then a figure slowly appeared in the air, revealing the figure within. Boss, what if Master finds out that we snuck out? Below Black Tortoise, the fat Rong Rong slowly said to him. It's okay. Master is also here. We came out this time to help Master solve his problems. Black Tortoise's gaze swept below, slowly saying to the fat Rongrong. At this time, Black Tortoise also pointed to a direction below, slowly saying to the fat Rongrong. Fatty, I heard someone talking about the heaven-suppressing spoon. It seems that someone is trying to harm Master. Our chance has come. As long as we help Master solve the problem, Master won't blame us. I also heard the voice of a beauty. When the fat Rongrong heard Black Tortoise's words, her figure flashed, flying towards the direction of Black Tortoise's finger. This time, they came out of the courtyard because it was too boring. Under Black Tortoise's lead, the fat Rongrong naturally followed him here. At the same time, in the Demon Spirit Sect's small world, a group of Demon Spirit Sect cultivators stood behind Yao Yaoling, and two figures stood opposite them. It was none other than the avatar of the Divine Court Master and the Medicine Sovereign. At this moment, the Medicine Sovereign was standing in front of Yao Yaoling. He slowly spoke to them. Yao Yaoling, no matter what, our Divine Court and your Demon Spirit Sect used to be on the same continent. It's not too much to borrow your heaven-suppressing scoop. Besides, I didn't take it for free. When the Divine Court and the Demon Spirit Sect were dominating the divinity, they were still on the same immortal continent. Therefore, in a sense, the Demon Spirit Sect and the Divine Court were considered neighbors. As he spoke, the Medicine Sovereign held a few jade bottles in his hands. Waves of pill fragrance came out from the jade bottle. From the looks of it, the grade was not low. Yao Yaoling stood opposite the Medicine Sovereign and the avatar of the Divine Court Master. She slowly said, "It's not that I don't want to lend it to you, but the heaven-suppressing scoop is no longer in our Demon Spirit Sect." Although Yao Yaoling would never lend the heaven-suppressing spoon to Medicine Sovereign and the others. However, Yao Yao was telling the truth. The sky suppression scoop had indeed been taken away by Shao Chang Tian and Chu Yiren. When the clone of the Master of the Divine Court heard Yao Yaoling's words, he also reached out to hold his cloak. After which, he walked in front of Yao Huang and slowly said to Yao Yaoling, "Yao Yaoling, let's not talk about all that nonsense. If you lend us the heaven-suppressing spoon, we'll use it as collateral. When we return the heaven-suppressing spoon, you can just give us the fragment." When Yao Yaoling saw the fragment in the hands of the clone of the Master of the Divine Court, her expression was somewhat shocked. She did not expect the clone of the Master of the Divine Court to take out the fragment of the Divine Court token as collateral. Every fragment of the Divine Court token contained the bloodline power and luck of the Master of the Divine Court. If he absorbed them, he could directly advance a mortal to the God Emperor realm. It could be said that this Divine Court token fragment was one of the lifeblood of the Divine Court. At this moment, the Medicine Emperor said to the clone of the Divine Court Master beside him, "Master, this. There's no need to say more." When the avatar of the Divine Court Master saw that the Medicine Sovereign wanted to say something, he waved his hand. Yao Yaoling looked at the clone of the Master of the Divine Court and the Medicine Sovereign before taking a deep breath. "I'm really sorry, heaven-suppressing spoon. I want to see which son of AB*TCH dares to have designs on the heaven-suppressing spoon." Before Yao Yaoling could finish speaking, a voice was transmitted down from the sky. Then, everyone looked up. They saw a giant panda with a turtle sitting on its head, slowly flying towards them. Not long after, the fat Rongrong appeared in front of everyone with the black tortoise. Chapter 442, Chapter 442:1 AM The weakest in our courtyard, 1. Chapter 442:1 AM The weakest in our courtyard, 1. Small space, Demon Spirit Sect. The avatar of the Divine Court Master and the Medicine Sovereign also looked at the black tortoise and the fat Rongrong who had suddenly appeared in front of them. He also said to Yaoling, "Is this a demonic beast from your Demon Spirit Sect?" Yao Yaoling shook her head when she heard the Medicine Sovereign's words. This was also the first time they saw Black Tortoise and the Fat Rongrong, they had never seen them before. However, how did they enter? Why couldn't they sense any movement at all? Other than when Xiao Chang Tian and Chu Yiren entered, they didn't sense anything. After all, Chu Yiren had written about their Lord Demon God, so it was normal that they didn't know about it. When the others entered the demon spirit sect, they could sense it. And for Black Tortoise and the Fat Rongrong to be able to enter without a sound, they were also very surprised. The medicine sovereign saw Yao Yao Ling shake her head and slowly said to Black Tortoise and the Fat Rongrong, "Where did these turtles and pandas come from? They're really courting death by disturbing my lord's negotiations." Hearing Medicine Emperor's words, the Fat Rongrong beneath Black Tortoise's feet slowly raised her head and said to him, "Boss, this old man called you a turtle and told you to go away." Black Tortoise heard the Fat Rongrong's words and slowly stood up, looking at the medicine sovereign opposite him. "Fatty, I heard everything." Following which, the true energy on the Black Tortoise's body surged as it charged towards the medicine sovereign. Seeing Black Tortoise make a move, the Fat Rongrong also tactfully waddled over to Yao Yao Ling's side. "Beauty, boss went to teach them a lesson for you. They actually dared to ask you for the heaven-suppressing spoon. Boss will definitely beat them up until they piss their pants." Yao Huang looked at the Black Tortoise that was charging towards him as his expression changed. This turtle still dares to take the initiative to attack. "Master, leave it to me." After speaking to the avatar of the Divine Court Master beside him, the medicine sovereign flew out. A faint green true qi surged on his body, while flames rose from Yao Huang's hands. "I don't know how many demonic beasts I've refined with this flame. Today, I'll let you have a taste of his taste." As he spoke, the Yao Huang waved the flame in his hand at the Black Tortoise. The flames attacked the Black Tortoise. "Your flame is much weaker than that old hen." At this moment, the Black Tortoise looked at the oncoming flames. The true essence on its body surged, and a huge Black Tortoise Dharma idol appeared behind it. At this moment, in everyone's field of vision, a huge Black Tortoise Dharma idol stood in the air. The Black Tortoise and the scales were on the same level, and endless seawater flowed backward around them. The medicine sovereign watched as his flames dissipated the moment they touched the Black Tortoise. At this moment, the medicine sovereign saw his flames being easily dissolved and the Black Tortoise Dharma idol in front of him. He was already panicking in his heart. "This is Black Tortoise." The medicine sovereign stared at the Black Tortoise in front of him, his words filled with disbelief. At this moment, Black Tortoise's voice was slowly transmitted into Yao Huang's ears. "You just said that you want to refine me?" The Black Tortoise's voice sounded in the mind of the medicine sovereign. Next, the medicine sovereign's body involuntarily knelt on the ground. The boundless seawater around the Black Tortoise rolled, and a huge water pillar formed beside it. At the same time that the water pillar was formed, the avatar of the Divine Court Master slowly arrived beside the medicine sovereign. Looking at Black Tortoise in front of him, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court also raised the fragment of the Divine Court token in his hand high. "Senior Black Tortoise, please calm down." At this moment, the voice of the clone of the Master of the Divine Court was extremely respectful. He had no intention of resisting the Black Tortoise. The Black Tortoise, a divine beast, was an all-powerful existence even in ancient times. With their strength, it was completely impossible for them to resist. Seeing the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court in front of him, the Black Tortoise's water pillar that was about to fly out paused. "Take off your cloak." When the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court heard Black Tortoise's words, he did not dare to be negligent and directly took off the cloak on his head. Then, the face of the avatar of the Master of the Divine Court appeared in front of everyone. When the medicine sovereign saw the avatar of the head of the Divine Court in this state, he slowly spoke. "My lord, stand there and don't speak." Seeing that the medicine sovereign was about to rush over, the avatar of the head of the Divine Court shouted at him. Tian. The Fat Rongrong was the first to speak when she saw the figure of the Lord of the Divine Court's clone. Not Tian, but Tian's clone. At this moment, Black Tortoise's voice also slowly entered the fat Rongrong's ears. When the clone of the Master of the Divine Court heard Black Tortoise's words, he was also stunned. From the conversation between Black Tortoise and the fat Rongrong, they seemed to know where their main body was. At this moment, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court slowly walked up to the Black Tortoise. "Senior Black Tortoise, you know where my main body is?" Although the Medicine Sovereign had just angered the Black Tortoise, the avatar of the Divine Court Master couldn't help but ask after hearing the news of his main body. Hearing the words of the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court, Black Tortoise glanced at him. "Since you want to find the main body, why don't you ask Master for help? I remember that Master is in the great desolate immortal continent." Hearing the Black Tortoise's words, the avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court was shocked. A divine beast like the Black Tortoise actually had a master. He wondered what kind of person could subdue him. However, Lord Black Tortoise had also pointed out a path for him. With this thought in mind, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court slowly said to the Black Tortoise, "May I know where Senior's master is now?" When Black Tortoise heard the words of the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court, he said slowly to him, "I just heard you say that you want to find the heaven-suppressing spoon." "Yes, yes. The heaven-suppressing spoon can help our Divine Court quickly recover its former glory. Therefore, we have also come here to borrow it." At this moment, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court didn't hide anything and told him everything. Upon hearing the words of the Divine Court Master, Black Tortoise's body also moved. "My master wants that heaven-suppressing spoon." Hearing Black Tortoise's words, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court trembled. "Since Senior's master wants it, I naturally won't fight for it." Looking at the avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court, the Black Tortoise slowly said to him, "All right, it just so happens that I'm also going to look for Master. You can follow me when the time comes." On the side, Yao Ling overheard the conversation between Black Tortoise and the clone of the Master of the Divine Court. His body also trembled. The master that Senior Black Tortoise mentioned was probably the senior who followed the demon god here. At this time, Yao Ling looked at the fat Rongrong beside her, her gaze slowly sweeping over. If the turtle was the Black Tortoise, then this giant panda was not a divine beast, right? And as if sensing Yao Ling's gaze, the fat Rongrong also turned her head. He looked at Yao Ling and slowly said to him, "Beauty, don't think too much. I'm the weakest in our courtyard." Chapter 443, Chapter 443, Why Can't I Understand What This Senior Is? Chapter 443, Why Can't I Understand What This Senior Is? Saying, 1. Demon Spirit Sect, Small Space. Yao Ling looked at the fat Rongrong beside her and slowly nodded her head. At this time, Black Tortoise also came to the fat Rongrong's side. "Fatty, we can go now." Finding Tian's clone was also an unexpected gain for the Black Tortoise. If he brought him to the master's side like this, the master would not blame him for coming out. The fat Rongrong heard Black Tortoise's words and slowly came to his side. He held the Black Tortoise on his head. At this moment, the Black Tortoise spoke to the avatar of the Divine Court Master and the Medicine Sovereign behind him. "If you want to see Master, come with us." When the clone of the Master of the Divine Court heard Black Tortoise's words, his face lit up with joy. This trip was a pleasant surprise for them. Originally, they had come to borrow the heaven-suppressing spoon, but they did not expect to see the Black Tortoise. Originally, he was annoyed because the Medicine Emperor and the Black Tortoise had a bad relationship, but he didn't expect to hear the news of his master. It could be said to be full of twists and turns. At this moment, the avatar of the Divine Court Master hurriedly called out to the Medicine Sovereign behind him and left with Black Tortoise and the others. He also wanted to see what kind of person the legendary Master of the Black Tortoise was. He must be an old monster who had lived for many years. She wondered how his relationship with her main body was. With this thought in mind, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court was also looking forward to meeting Tian. At this moment, in a small town in the great desolate immortal continent, Xiao Changtian and Chu Yuren were walking along a small path in the town. Then, they sat down on a stall. These few days, they had not had a good meal after leaving the demon spirit sect. Xiao Changtian was already feeling hungry. He turned to look at Chu Yuren, who was beside him. She looked as if it didn't matter to her whether she ate or not. Looking at Chu Yuren, Xiao Changtian began to believe what he had heard in his previous life about girls who could go without food for days to lose weight. At this moment, at the table next to Xiao Changtian and the others, there were also a few cultivators sitting there, and their conversation slowly entered Xiao Changtian's ears. Have you heard? The Yi family offended someone they shouldn't have offended and was exterminated a few days ago. That's right. No one in the entire clan survived. I don't know what big shot they offended. Xiao Changtian, who was sitting on the side, was eating the rice in his mouth. When he heard their conversation, his face was also stunned. In his previous life, he had often seen such plots when he read online novels. However, sitting next to someone and hearing them say it, it felt different. At this moment, Chu Yuren turned to Xiao Changtian and said slowly, "Senior, what's wrong? What's wrong with the Yates family being wiped out?" Xiao Changtian waved at Chu Yuren when he heard her words. Cultivation is really good. When he first came to the cultivation world, he also wanted to be like the cool novels he read in his previous life. He would kill whoever he was unhappy with. He didn't expect the system to be so weak. Not only did he not allow her to cultivate, but he also allowed her to feed small animals. Xiao Changtian still doubted the authenticity of the so-called invincible path. If it wasn't for his dream of cultivation, Xiao Changtian wouldn't have cared about those little animals. Xiao Changtian sighed. When would he be able to be like that person in the nation of America, being talked about like that and even exterminating the entire family? Seeing Xiao Changtian's melancholy expression, Chu Yuren continued. Senior, if you don't like them talking, I'll chase them away. Xiao Changtian heard Chu Yuren's words and saw her about to get up. He pulled her back. Yuren, no. Sit down. We still have to hurry after eating. The people who were talking were obviously immortal cultivators or mortals who were closer to immortal cultivators. How could he and Chu Yuren provoke them? After provoking them, they would be the next topic of conversation after dinner. Following that, Xiao Changtian brought Chu Yuren along with him as they continued their journey. And at this time, in midair, Black Tortoise sat on the fat Rongrong's head, his eyes also looking down. Fatty, Master should be there. Black Tortoise pointed in a direction below, slowly saying to the fat Rongrong. Next, the fat Rongrong's figure turned into a stream of light, flying downwards. The avatar of the Divine Court Master and the Medicine Sovereign naturally followed closely behind them. At that moment, Xiao Changtian and Chu Yuren had already appeared outside the town. As for the Black Tortoise, he brought along the fat Rongrong, the clone of the Divine Court Master, and the Medicine Sovereign. Looking at Xiao Changtian below, Black Tortoise said slowly to the clone of the Master of the Divine Court behind him. Tian's clone, that's Master. Go and find Master, I'll go over later. Hearing Black Tortoise's words, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court also looked down. Looking at the two figures below, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court found them familiar. However, he didn't think too much about it. He cupped his fists at Black Tortoise and slowly said to him. Thank you, Senior Black Tortoise. As soon as he finished speaking, Shenting's avatar brought Yao Huang's body and flew downwards. At this moment, Xiao Changtian and Chu Yuren were walking on the road outside the town. After that, the Medicine Sovereign and the avatar of the Divine Court Master slowly appeared in front of Xiao Changtian. Xiao Changtian looked at the two people who suddenly appeared in front of him. Wasn't this Tian's brother? And that white-haired old man, wasn't he the old man who went into the mountains to pick herbs? At this moment, the avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court and the Medicine Sovereign finally saw Xiao Changtian's face. This. The two of them looked at each other in disbelief. Naturally, they recognized Xiao Changtian. Wasn't he the mortal they had seen in the forest? Oh no, they were still treating him as a mortal. This was a great disrespect to their seniors. To be able to become the master of the Black Tortoise, he naturally could see through their inner thoughts. At the thought of this, the avatar of the Divine Court Master and the Medicine Sovereign broke out in cold sweat. For a moment, he didn't know what to say to Xiao Changtian. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also slowly walked up to them. Tian's little brother, why are you here as well? And this is... Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court was also confused. Why didn't he understand what this senior was saying? The main body's younger brother? Was senior hinting at something? However, he did not know that his main body had taken in a younger brother during this period of time. Moreover, he was hiding beside him without being discovered. His strength was probably at a terrifying level. With that thought in mind, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court also looked around. Chapter 444, Chapter 444, Look at your brother, he loves studying so much. Chapter 444, Look at your brother, he loves studying so much. Great desolate immortal continent, outside the small town of the Imperial Beast Sect. He saw the Divine Court Master's clone looking around. In the air, Black Tortoise also emitted a dark green light and injected it into the forehead of the clone of the Master of the Divine Court. Then, information slowly appeared in the mind of the avatar of the Master of the Divine Court. It turns out that Senior is currently refining his heart in the mortal world, playing around with the mortal world. After digesting the information given by Black Tortoise in his mind, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court finally understood. At this moment, Xiao Changtian walked up to the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court. Little brother Tian, why aren't you saying anything? Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court also reacted. Then, he smiled at Xiao Changtian and said, Senior, this is the servant of our clan, the Medicine Sovereign. This time, we came out to gather herbs. As he spoke, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court was also carefully choosing his words, afraid that he would disturb Xiao Changtian's cultivation. Xiao Changtian nodded in agreement. So, have you found the medicine? What are your plans? Xiang must have gone to look for Tian. This Tian's younger brother would go to look for Tian once in a while. Xiao Changtian had seen this too many times. Naturally, he blurted it out. When the clone of the Master of the Divine Court heard Xiao Changtian's words, he was secretly shocked. As expected, Senior had already grasped their movements clearly. Fortunately, Senior was magnanimous. Previously, when he and the Medicine Sovereign walked past him, they rejected his good intentions. Now that he thought about it, he was really blind back then. With this thought in his heart, the avatar of the Divine Court Master pulled the Medicine Sovereign beside him. Yes, Senior, we're going to find Big Brother. Hearing the words of the clone, Xiao Changtian slowly said, how about we go back together? We can take care of each other on the way. When they passed by the small town, Xiao Changtian heard the news that the Yi family had been exterminated. He also invited the avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court to return with him. In the cultivation world, the outside world was quite dangerous. One more person meant one more strength. Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court was also grateful. Senior was truly magnanimous, he didn't blame him and the Medicine Sovereign for rejecting his good intentions. He even wants to bring us to the main body. With his status as a senior, if he could obtain his help, the heaven-suppressing spoon would be many times stronger. At this moment, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court looked at Xiao Changtian with gratitude. Thank you, Senior. No, it's just on the way. Let's go together. Tian and the others should be busy in the bookstore right now. Xiao Changtian also walked to the side of the clone and patted his shoulder. Then, he led Chu Yiren and the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court to his own courtyard. When the Master of Divine Court heard Xiao Changtian's words, he was also shocked. The main body was actually helping Senior manage the bookstore. No wonder he couldn't find him before. With Senior around, who could find the main body? With this thought in mind, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court immediately followed behind Xiao Changtian. Then, the two antennae of the chaos ant on Xiao Changtian's shoulder also lit up with a silver-white light. Chu Yiren, the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court, and the others were trapped within. The avatar of the Master of the Divine Court sensed that the space he was in was constantly shifting, and finally arrived at the periphery of Daang Town. Was this space movement? The clone of the Master of the Divine Court looked at Xiao Changtian's back, his eyes filled with respect. A second ago, he could still feel that they were in the divine world. Now, looking at everything around him and the level of spiritual energy, he was not in the divine world at all. Senior's strength had indeed reached an unimaginable level. He could easily mobilize so much spatial power. That was Master's doing. It was just a small ant's doing. If Master were to do it, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to imagine it. At this moment, Black Tortoise's voice slowly sounded in the mind of the clone of the Master of the Divine Court. After receiving Black Tortoise's voice transmission, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court also looked at Xiao Changtian's shoulder. On Xiao Changtian's left shoulder, a black ant was stretching its antennae. As if it had caught Black Tortoise's voice transmission, the chaos ant looked at the void in front of it. Damn turtle, what kind of truth are you spouting? If you say more, do you believe that I will tell Master that you secretly ran out? You. Black Tortoise wanted to say something when the chaos ant spoke. When he heard the chaos ant's last sentence, he immediately shut his mouth. It didn't want to be the first to be locked in the dark room. The avatar of the Divine Court Master and the Medicine Sovereign followed behind Xiao Changtian. He sensed the conversation between the chaos ant and the Black Tortoise in the void. His heart was already surging. It was fine if he saw a divine beast like the Black Tortoise today. He did not expect to see a divine beast like the Chaos Ant. The key was that both divine beasts had masters, and they were the same master. The clone of the Master of the Divine Court looked at Xiao Changtian and felt that Xiao Changtian was becoming more and more mysterious. There was no aura on his body, but his footsteps and actions seemed to contain the truth of the great Tao of this world. This was a true reclusive expert. At this moment, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court suddenly felt that the reclusive cultivators he knew before were not worth mentioning in front of Xiao Changtian. After walking for a short distance, Xiao Changtian looked ahead and turned to the clone of the Master of the Divine Court. He slowly said, "Little brother Tian, the bookstore is right in front. Let's go over and take a look. Tian should be there." "Oh, right, there are also 4 servants in your family. They are called Ice Emperor, Demon Emperor, May Emperor, and Sword Emperor." At this moment, Xiao Changtian also introduced to the clone of the Master of the Divine Court. Upon hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the Medicine Sovereign who was standing beside the avatar of the Divine Court Master had a look of joy on his face. He didn't expect that there would be 4 generals by his master's side. In this way, almost half of the Divine Court's team had gathered together. Looks like the revival of the Divine Court is just around the corner. Seeing the joy on the Medicine Sovereign's face, Xiao Changtian also smiled. Looking at the white-haired old man's happy expression, it seemed that he wanted to see his former colleague as soon as possible. Following that, Xiao Changtian and the rest of the people slowly walked to the front of the bookstore. When they arrived in front of the bookstore, the scene inside the bookstore was displayed before their eyes. The bookstore was the same as before. There were still a few young men greeting the customers. The Ice Emperor and the Demon Emperor were helping out from the side. As for the May Empress, the Sword Emperor and Tian, they were sitting at a table in the bookstore. She was holding a book in her hands and reading it tirelessly. Tian and the others were so engrossed in their books that they didn't even notice their arrival. Xiao Changtian also said to the clone of the Master of the Divine Court beside him. Look at your brother. He loves to study. Chapter 445, Chapter 445, Heavenly Gate, 1. Chapter 445, Heavenly Gate, 1. Tian Yuan Continent, in front of Xiao Changtian. When the clone of the Master of the Divine Court heard Xiao Changtian's words, he was also very excited. He had finally found the main body that he had been searching for so long. Looking at the book that was being read, the clone of the owner of the Divine Court slowly walked over. At this moment, Tian, who was reading, also sensed something. He slowly put down the book in his hand and saw the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court slowly walking towards him. Big brother. The avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court spoke when he saw Tian. When Tian heard the words of the clone, he slowly stood up and walked towards the clone. You've finally arrived at the final clone. Muttering to himself, Tian also saw Xiao Changtian standing behind the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court. Clasping his fists at Xiao Changtian, Tian slowly spoke. Thank you, Senior. Senior brother had helped him find his avatar many times. Tian already didn't know how to repay Xiao Changtian. After thinking about it, he only said a word of thanks. However, Tian knew that under his leadership, the Divine Court would definitely become a great help to Senior in the future. Although Senior might not look down on their Divine Court. When Xiao Changtian saw Tian, he also waved his hands at him. I won't disturb you and your brother. Irin and I will return to the courtyard first. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Changtian led Chu Irin towards his own courtyard. Every time Tian and his younger brother met, the time interval between them didn't seem to be very long. But for some reason, in Xiao Changtian's eyes, every time they met, they were all lovey-dovey. They were like a couple who hadn't seen each other for decades. After Xiao Changtian left, Yao Huang looked at the Demon Emperor and the others in the bookstore, his face filled with joy. It had been many years since the 10 great generals had seen so many people together. Then, under the lead of the Ice Emperor, they started to talk at a table. At this moment, the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court was led by Tian to the residence of the Emperor Heaven bookstore. Tian spent most of his time in the bookstore. Therefore, under Xiao Changtian's arrangement, the bookstore also cleared a room for him. In the room, Tian stared at the clone before him, his expression somewhat excited. The clone of the Lord of the Divine Court sensed Tian before him. He discovered that as long as he and his main body were together, all of Tian's clones would return. The main body slowly reached the peak of its former strength. With this thought in mind, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court said excitedly to the main body. It seems that the reincarnation has been very successful. As long as I fuse with you, you will be considered to have fused perfectly. It's just that I haven't found all the Divine Court tokens yet. At this point, the clone of the Master of the Divine Court sighed and held a fragment in his hand. It was the Divine Court token fragment that he had planned to trade with Yao Yaoling and the others in the Demon Spirit Sect. Upon seeing the fragment in the hands of the clone, Tian also took out a fragment from his body. The fragment that Tian took out was clearly larger than the fragment that the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court took out. As soon as Tian took out the fragment, it immediately resonated with the fragment in the hands of the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court. Then, the two merged together. After the fusion was completed, the fragment emitted a bright light. The light contained the unique fate and bloodline power of the Lord of the Divine Court. A diamond-shaped token floated in the air. On the token, there were lines of strange runes. The only flaw was that there was a gap in one corner of the token. It's almost there. It's just the last fragment. Tian stared at the Divine Court token before him as he slowly spoke. The fragment of the Divine Court token was also the thing he was most concerned about in the bookstore other than reading books. During the time he was in the bookstore, he had also asked the Ice Emperor. Demon Emperor, and the others to go out and search for the divine court. Token fragments when they had time. The avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court nodded when he heard Tian's words. At least from the current situation, the main body's side was still very smooth. At this moment, the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court also stroked his forehead. He slowly spoke to Tian. Master, although everything is going well now, there is still one thing that I need you to do. According to the information I've gathered during this period of time, the former generals of the Divine Court might have had dealings with the heavenly gates after they woke up. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth were the remaining 5 of the 10 great generals of the Divine Court. The 5 of them were different from the other generals. In terms of individual strength, they might be at the bottom. However, if these 5 people attacked together, even if Tian was at his peak, he wouldn't have the confidence to defeat them. However, when Tian heard the words of the Avatar, he slowly spoke. Recently, there have been clues about the last Divine Court token fragment. It's in the hands of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Does the legendary Gate of Heaven really exist? At the mention of the heavenly gates, Tian's tone was somewhat solemn. The Heaven Gate was an existence that was even older than the Divine Court. When Tian first established the Divine Court, it was still an ordinary power in the Divine Realm. However, legends about the Heaven's Gate were prevalent in the Divine Realm. It was said that when the Heaven's Gate existed, it was the only overlord in the Divine Realm. All races submitted. Whether it was the human race, the demon race, or any other race, they all respected the Heaven Gate. If the Heaven's Gate was only an overlord in the Divine Realm, Tian would not care so much about it. Most importantly, it was rumored that one of the ancestors of the Heavens Gate had a connection with the legendary human realm upon heavens. Therefore, the legend of the Heavenly Gates had been circulating among the top factions for so many years. When the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court heard Tian's words, his expression turned solemn as he nodded. Moreover, I have a feeling that the appearance of the Heaven Gate this time might be related to our Divine Court. It's even possible that their target is you. When Tian heard the words of the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court, he silently remembered them in his heart. Elysium, huh? They still had designs on their own general. They came with ill intentions. At this moment, the voice of the avatar of the Master of the Divine Court continued to be heard. Master, I feel that when we finish fusing, Elysium and the others will start to make their moves. Yes, I know. Let's merge. Tian's eyes flickered, it was unknown what he was thinking about. At least for now, he wasn't too worried. With a senior around, the Gate of Heaven was nothing in front of him. After that, in Tian's room, Tian merged with his last strand of Tao. At this moment, outside the bookstore, the Medicine Sovereign and the Ice Sovereign were chatting. Ice Emperor and the others were also in disbelief. Since metal, wood, water, fire, and earth betrayed Master, I'll go and kill them now. When the Demon Sovereign heard the Medicine Sovereign's words, he was also fuming with rage, looking as though he wanted to fight. At this moment, the May Empress said slowly, I'd better wait for Master to finish the fusion. At this time, there can't be any mistakes. The others nodded in agreement. Chapter 446, Chapter 446, Looking for the Hot Shot of the Lower. Chapter 446, Looking for the Hot Shot of the Lower. World and Plundering the Fate, 1. In the Divine Realm, in a majestic palace. The palace was suspended in midair, and the surroundings were covered in a white fog. From below, one could not detect the existence of the palace at all. In front of the palace gate, there were 2 cultivators in golden armor holding halberds. At this moment, an old man with 6 pairs of eyes was sitting on the throne in the palace. The old man was wearing golden armor. He looked down as if everything was under his control. Below the palace, there were 5 figures, each wearing armor of different colors. The eyes of these 5 people were empty, as if they had lost their intelligence. At this moment, the old man sitting on the throne slowly opened his eyes. Metal Emperor, it seems that your master has completed the fusion. As he spoke, the old man smiled as he looked at a man in golden armor sitting on the first chair. When the Metal Emperor heard the old man's words, he slowly stood up from his seat. Since my lord has completed the fusion, I wonder what instructions the Divine Eye Elder has. The Metal Emperor stood in the center of the hall with his head lowered. He was extremely respectful to the Divine Eye above him. At this moment, the Divine Eye slowly waved its hand to the side. Then, a golden rock flew in from outside with a howl. The golden rock landed on the arm of the Divine Eye. Then, the Divine Eye looked at the Metal Emperor below. Go to the Divine Realm with the Great Peng and spread the news. Let the Divine Realm inform all the lower realms and bring the people with the most luck to the Drunken Immortal Restaurant to pray. Also, whoever brings the most people to the lower realm and has the strongest fate, the Heaven's Gate can give them a chance to enter the human realm upon heavens. The Divine Eye's voice slowly sounded in the hall. Then, he waved his sleeve at the Golden Emperor. A golden scroll appeared in the hands of the Metal Emperor. The Metal Emperor received the scroll from the Divine Eye and retreated respectfully. Then, the golden rock on top of the Divine Eye's arm followed. Watching the Metal Emperor leave, the Divine Eye revealed an imperceptible smile. Tian, 5 of your 10 great generals are in my hands. Are you coming to the Drunken Immortal Inn or not? The Divine Eye's words carried a hint of playfulness as it waved its hand. A bronze mirror appeared in the hall. In the mirror, everything that the Golden Emperor and the Golden Rock had done in the Divine Realm could be seen at a glance. At this moment, on the various continents of the Divine World, almost all the cultivators had received the Divine Eye's order from the Metal Emperor. For a moment, all the cultivators of the Divine World were extremely shocked. Some of the weaker cultivators were confused when they saw the two sections. On the other hand, some of the old demons in the reclusive world and sects were shocked when they saw the gate of heaven. He immediately gave an order to his sect. Pass down my order. From today onwards, all the disciples of our Green Sword sect will head to the lower realm to find the hot shot and bring him to the Drunken Immortal Restaurant. This is a blessing from the heavens. This is an opportunity for our sacred dragon dynasty to dominate the divine realm. An old man sat in the coffin and looked at the scroll in his hand as he spoke in an experienced manner. Ancestor, what's wrong? A middle-aged man in a dragon robe looked at the ancestor who was about to fall asleep and asked in confusion. Pass on my order. The entire clan will go to the lower realm to search for people with luck. Remember to be fast. Yes. The middle-aged man immediately responded when he saw the old ancestor's agitated expression. Ancestor, I'll do it immediately. The old ancestor had already left the matters of the Holy Dragon Empire alone for countless years. Something big must have happened to give such an order today. At the same time, such things happened frequently in the other top empires and sects of the divine world. This old fellow was so convinced of this matter. Other than the heavenly gates, there was also the person who issued the edict. It was recorded in their ancestral books. He was one of the 10 great generals of the divine court, the Metal Emperor. Originally, they were all guessing the reason for the disappearance of the divine court. Now, it seemed that everything had been solved. The divine court must have ascended to the legendary heavens beyond. No wonder he couldn't find any information about the divine court for hundreds of years. Previously, there were rumors about the reincarnation of the Lord of the divine court. Now, it seemed that it was all nonsense. All of this was captured by the divine eye in the palace. Looking at the appearance of the cultivators of the divine world, the corners of the divine eye's mouth curled into a smile. The fate of the myriad worlds and the balance of the myriad worlds are ultimately still controlled by our heavenly gates. For the past few centuries, why was it that the god monarch realm was at the peak and could not touch the immortal realm? Why was it that the ancient emperors of the lower realms were at the peak, unable to reach the level of gods? They were all closely related to the luck of the various worlds. The luck of the various worlds was extremely mysterious, and most of it was on the hot shots. For hundreds of years, the Heaven's Gate had been constantly plundering the luck of the hot shots. It caused the people of the lower realms and the ordinary world to be unable to advance any further after reaching the God Emperor realm or the Ancient Emperor realm. This was also the reason why the Divine Eye had asked the Metal Emperor to issue the decree. If the people of the Divine World brought the hot shots of the lower realm over, the luck of the lower realm would naturally be in the hands of the Divine Eye. As for the luck of the Divine Realm, it naturally belonged to Tian. Seeing that the plan was going smoothly, the Divine Eye sat back down in his seat. Then, he disappeared from the hall along with his seat. Farewell, Divine Eye Elder. As soon as the Divine Eye disappeared, the people in the hall said respectfully to the people above. Tian Yuan Continent, Great Sun Sect. As the other lower worlds received the notice from the Divine Realm, the Tian Yuan Continent naturally received the notice as well. At this moment, in the Great Sun Divine Hall, the Great Sun Immortal was sitting at the top of the hall. He held a red invitation card in his hand. On it was the imprint of the Lily Fire Sect. The Li Fire Sect was a powerful sect in the Divine Realm. It said that the Li Fire Sect's ancestors' cultivation has already reached the God Monarch realm. He is also a powerful expert in the Divine Realm. What do you think of this matter? The Great Sun Immortal sat above the hall and said slowly to the people below. Most of the people seated below were the sect leaders of first-rank sects on the Tian Yuan continent. Ever since the last time he let Daoist Big Sun become the alliance leader of the Cultivator Alliance. If there was anything, everyone would be the first to discuss it with the Great Sun Immortal. I saw that it also said that if their talent is good, they are willing to accept the hot shots into the Li Fire Sect. This is a good thing for the Tian Yuan continent. When a first-rank sect leader saw the invitation, his voice revealed a hint of anticipation. If his disciple could be valued by the Divine World, he might also have the opportunity to ascend in the future. At this moment, the sect master of the Imperial Beast sect shook his head. I think this matter is a little strange. Senior said that there will be no free lunch in the sky. I think it's better to ask for Senior's opinion. As soon as he finished speaking, the other cultivators in the hall nodded. They came here to hear Xiao Changtian's opinion. Daoist Great Sun saw everyone's reaction and nodded. Chapter 447, Chapter 447, The Master is bringing you to become his. Chapter 447, The Master is bringing you to become his. Master, 1. Tian Yuan Continent, Daeang Town. In Xiao Changtian's courtyard, Xiao Changtian was lying on a rocking chair. Xiao Changtian was in a good mood ever since he found the heaven-suppressing spoon. The preparations for the supreme kick were almost complete. The dam mission issued by the system was finally about to be completed. At this moment, Yi Fan's voice slowly entered Xiao Changtian's ears. Master, the Great Sun Immortal is here. Xiao Changtian also sat up from his rocking chair when he heard the name of the Great Sun Immortal. It had been a long time since he had seen the Great Sun Immortal. As he was thinking about this, Xiao Changtian saw Daoist Big Sun slowly walking towards him. Seeing the Great Sun Immortal, Xiao Changtian said to him slowly. Good morning, Daoist Big Sunday. What's the matter? The Great Sun Immortal smiled when he saw Xiao Changtian. Senior sure knows how to joke. It was already evening. How could it be early? However, Senior naturally said so. Perhaps there was a deeper meaning behind it. Then, the Great Sun Immortal came to Xiao Changtian's side with a red invitation in his hand. After handing it to Xiao Changtian, the Great Sun Immortal said to him slowly. Senior, what do you think? Xiao Changtian saw the red invitation handed over by the Great Sun Immortal and opened it. It was written that the Li Fire Sect wanted to invite the hot shots to the Drunken Immortal restaurant. Moreover, if he went, he would have good talent and could even take the hot shots as his disciples. Xiao Changtian looked at the red invitation card and said slowly to the Great Sun Immortal. Perfected Great Sun, how strong is the Li Fire Sect? The Great Sun Immortal also knew that Shao Chang Tian would not take this kind of sect to heart. Therefore, he explained. It's said that their ancestors' strength has already reached the level of a god. Monarch. Divine Lord? Never heard of it. Shao Chang Tian only remembered that he had heard of god kings and god emperors. They were all top cultivators. He had no idea what the strength of a divine lord was. However, to be able to hear it from the mouth of the Great Sun Immortal, the Great Sun Immortal was so powerful. This divine lord must be an impressive cultivator. With this thought in mind, Shao Chang Tian said to the Great Sun Immortal slowly. Perfected Great Sun, how is this divine lord compared to you? When the Great Sun Immortal heard Shao Chang Tian's words, he answered truthfully. I'm not as good as him. He did not even have the qualifications to enter the divine realm now. How could he be mentioned in the same breath as a divine lord? After hearing the words of the Great Sun True Man, Shao Chang Tian also closed the red invitation card in his hand. This immortal Daong was really good to him. He must have discovered his disciple's talent and understood his own difficulties. Back then, in order to complete the system's mission, he had no choice but to take the hot shot as his disciple. However, he was just an ordinary mortal. He could not teach his disciple anything at all. Being under him would also hinder his disciple's talent. This Taoist master De Yang must have seen through his distress, which was why he got him such an invitation. It was clearly written on it that as long as one's talent was good, they could accept their disciples as their disciples. This divine lord's strength was also very impressive. He had found a good home for his disciple. It could also be considered as fulfilling one of his wishes. Thinking so, Shao Chang Tian slowly said. Perfected Great Sun, I'll go to the Li Fire Sect. When the Great Sun Immortal heard Shao Chang Tian's words, he was also stunned. He had thought that Shao Chang Tian would ignore the invitation from a small sect after hearing about the Divine Lord. After all, they had even killed a few God Emperor realm experts. He didn't expect Shao Chang Tian to say that he wanted to go personally. It seemed that the reason why Senior was a senior and why Senior's strength was so profound. He must have seen something from the invitation. That was why he had to personally investigate. His cultivation realm was still worlds apart from Senior's. After hearing Shao Chang Tian's words, the Great Sun Immortal said to Shao Chang Tian slowly. Then I'll leave the Li Fire Sect to Senior. Then, the Great Sun Immortal also wanted to leave Shao Chang Tian's courtyard. He came here this time mainly to seek Shao Chang Tian's opinion. Since Shao Chang Tian said that he would take care of it himself, he naturally had nothing to do with it. With a senior taking action, was there anything that couldn't be resolved? Moreover, it had been a long time since he had come to the courtyard. The aura of the divine beast in the courtyard also made the Great Sun Immortal a little frightened. It seemed that he would have to cultivate more after returning. After Shao Chang Tian sent the Great Sun Immortal away, he slowly walked into the courtyard. He said slowly to Mu Jiuhuang. Ask Tian to come and find me. He remembered that when the system raided Tian, he was a hot shot. This time, he had brought Tian along. He had to let him perform well in front of the Li Fire Sect. He would strive to enter the Li Fire Sect and not be like him, waiting for death here. Hearing Shao Changtian's words, Mu Jiuhuang nodded slowly. Then, he walked out of the courtyard. Tian was the only one among Shao Changtian's disciples who could not fly, so it was easy for Mu Jiuhuang to find him. Usually, it could be found in Dayang town. At this time, Shao Changtian also came to the backyard and began to prepare. After all, he was going to meet a cultivation sect, so he had to make some preparations. Otherwise, it would not be good if others looked down on him. After 2 lives, Shao Changtian knew the importance of a first impression. While Shao Changtian was preparing in the backyard, Tian was also led by Zimu Jiuhuang to the backyard. Coming to the backyard, Tian saw the sword in Shao Changtian's hand and said to him slowly. Master, what is this? The long sword in his master's hand was obviously a top-notch immortal artifact. If it was used by mortals, it would probably be able to kill a godly emperor. Xiao Changtian looked at Fu Tian and said slowly. Fu Tian, you're here. Go and prepare. Master will take you to the Fire Sect. While speaking, Xiao Changtian also placed his sword into the bamboo basket. Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Fu Tian also looked at the bamboo basket beside Xiao Changtian. There were all kinds of weapons inside. All of them emitted a heart-piercing aura. They were all top-notch immortal artifacts. What kind of sect was this Fire Sect to actually make their master make so many preparations? Could it be an enemy of his master's? His master was going to fight on his own. At the thought of this, Fu Tian felt a burst of joy in his heart. It had been a while since he had fought, and his heart was already itching. Master, don't worry. I'll go and prepare now. I'll definitely beat the Fire Sect until they submit. Xiao Changtian was stunned when he heard Fu Tian. He could just beat the other party into submission and say it in front of him. If he said that in front of the Fire Sect, he would probably be chased out. He had to teach Fu Tian's temperament well. Fu Tian, you can say whatever you want. Master is taking you to be his disciple, but don't do anything stupid when the time comes. Chapter 448, Chapter 448, This must be a test given by Master, 1. Chapter 448, This must be a test given by Master, 1. Tian Yuan Continent, Xiao Changtian's courtyard. Standing in front of Xiao Changtian, Fu Tian was stunned when he heard Xiao Changtian's words. Master? Didn't he already have a master? Could it be that his master despised his talent and wanted to expel him from the sect? With that thought in mind, Fu Tian quickly walked up to Xiao Changtian. He hugged Xiao Changtian's arms and said slowly. Master, I don't want you to find a master. I still want to learn from you. Xiao Changtian was putting his sword into the bamboo basket. Seeing Fu Tian like this, he felt a little uncomfortable. During this period of time in the courtyard, he had more or less developed feelings for these disciples. Thinking about how Fu Tian was going to leave her, she still felt a little reluctant. However, in the cultivation world, the strong were respected. He was just a small mortal. And Fu Tian had such good talent. If she delayed his cultivation, he would be able to cultivate. He also felt very uncomfortable in his heart. Thinking so, Xiao Changtian patted Fu Tian's shoulder. Fu Tian, as long as you want, I will always be your master. This small courtyard will always welcome you. It's just that your talent is not bad. This trip to the Fire Sect is for your own good. It's said that the Fire Sect's ancestors' strength has reached the God Monarch realm. He's also a powerful cultivator in the cultivation world. If you follow him, your future will be limitless. Hearing Xiao Changtian's sincere words, Fu Tian was a little stunned. Divine Lord? What was that? He could kill a bunch of them with a clap of his hands, alright? How could his master let him take such trash as his master? Moreover, with his master's relationship, even if he wanted to find a sect for him, he would not find a sect like the Fire Sect. Could this be a test given by his master? Fu Tian suddenly thought of a possibility. It was a test given to him by Xiao Changtian. All along, although he had some experience cultivating the Book of Man, he was stuck in this realm. When Li Tai went out with his master a while ago, his master also guided him in his cultivation. This time, his master might be testing him by asking him to take him as a master. By the way, give yourself some guidance. With this thought in mind, Fu Tian slowly said to Xiao Changtian. Master, I'm willing to follow you. Looking at Fu Tian, Xiao Changtian nodded. This Fu Tian could be considered to have understood his painstaking efforts. At this moment, Xiao Changtian saw the bamboo basket that had almost been packed. It contained all kinds of weapons that he had forged over the years. Carrying the bamboo basket on his back, Xiao Changtian said to Fu Tian. If you have nothing else to do, let's set off now. He and Fu Tian were both mortals, yet they had to go to someone else's place to become their master. Naturally, he had to go early to leave a good impression. Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Fu Tian nodded. Then, Xiao Changtian also saw the divine beast in the courtyard and carried the ant and the white tiger in his arms. And the little carp in the pond. Xiao Changtian held a water tank in his hand and placed the small carp inside. Then, he brought Fu Tian out of the ancestral hall. As soon as Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian left the courtyard, they saw the great Sun Reverend standing at the door with a group of cultivators from the Tian Yuan continent. Senior, they are all here to send you off. When the great Sun Immortal saw Xiao Changtian carrying a bamboo basket and bringing Fu Tian out, he walked up slowly and said to him. Xiao Changtian looked at the great Sun Immortal beside him and then at the group of people. He said to them slowly. Thank you, everyone. These were all unranked cultivators. Now that they knew that they were going to bring their disciples to join an impressive sect. Naturally, he came over to congratulate her. The cultivators of the Tian Yuan continent smiled at Xiao Changtian when they heard his words. We wish Senior success. After the great Sun Immortal returned, these people heard that Xiao Changtian was going to take action personally. He also knew that this matter was not that simple. Even with Senior's strength, he had to go out personally. If they were to go, they would definitely not be able to come back. Therefore, these people looked at Xiao Changtian with gratitude. Then, Xiao Changtian waved his hand at the crowd. Alright, we'll be leaving first. Looking at the scene in front of him, Xiao Changtian felt a little helpless. Those who didn't know would think that they would never see their disciple again. As Xiao Changtian's voice faded, the chaos ant on his shoulder slowly extended its two antennae. Whoosh! A silver-white light enveloped Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian. Then, Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian disappeared from everyone's sight. Seeing Xiao Changtian disappear into thin air in front of him, the great Sun Immortal's eyes were filled with envy. When would he be able to achieve the ability to transfer space? After Xiao Changtian left, the cultivators of the Tian Yuan continent began to whisper among themselves. Fortunately, Senior personally took action. Otherwise, we would not know how to deal with this divine realm. That's right. I was wondering why those fellows in the divine realm would be so kind as to let our disciples become their disciples. It's obvious that there's some trick. Senior has seen through it. It's great that we have seniors on the Tian Yuan continent. On the other side, Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian also arrived in the divine realm under the cover of the spatial power of the chaos ant. Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian landed on the ground, looking at the unfamiliar surroundings. This was a town with high temperatures everywhere. Almost all the men in the town were topless as they walked on the streets. At this moment, Xiao Changtian saw a huge round plate beside him. Is this the legendary formation? Xiao Changtian looked at the huge round plate beside him. There were some patterns on it. On the lines, rays of light rose. In the cultivation world, Xiao Changtian had heard of the arrays that cultivators built. However, this was the first time Xiao Changtian had seen a formation at such a close distance. Observing the unfamiliar environment, Xiao Changtian finally understood. It must have been perfected Great Sun who used his great magic power to help him and Fu Tian reach the Leaf Fire clan's territory quickly. That's right. If he were to walk to a cultivation sect alone, the journey would definitely be long. With the help of the Great Sun Immortal, he would naturally be much faster. The Immortal De Yang was really thoughtful. At this moment, a guard in a red robe walked toward Xiao Changtian. You too, what are you here for? The guard looked at Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian with a spear in his hand. He saw Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian from when they were here. He looked here and there. He looked like a spy. Chapter 449, Chapter 449, Wrong, are you apologizing to me? L. Chapter 449, Wrong, are you apologizing to me? L. Divine Realm, Lifire Town. The formation guard stood between Tian and Tian. He looked at them with disdain and hostility. Hearing the guard's tone, a look of displeasure appeared on Tian's face. If a guard had spoken to him in such an interrogative tone, he would have been able to do it. He might not pay attention to him either. However, Tian was different here. What kind of figure was his master? What was wrong with him standing here? With this thought in mind, Tian also stepped forward and said slowly to the guard. I'm standing here with master. What's wrong? When the matrix guard heard Tian's words, he also aimed his spear at Tian. Brat, how can you say that? We are the Lifire Sect's array guards. This place is Lifire City. If you obediently tell us your origins, we can spare you from the pain of physical torture. Tian looked around and heard the guards talking about the Lifire Sect. He quickly walked over and slowly said to Tian. Tian, don't do anything rash. Looking at the way Tian and the Lifire clan guards were shooting their arrows, Tian felt a headache coming on. Why did Tian want to fight with them before he even became their disciple? Everyone, it's all a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. At this moment, Tian explained to the formation guard. We were invited by your Lifire sect to come to your sect. Master, look at them. Why are you talking nonsense with them? Seeing how the matrix guard actually dared to point his spear at Tian, Tian was also furious. If Tian wasn't there, they would have been dead by now. The formation guard heard Tian's words and looked at Tian. The aura on his body turned out to be that of a mortal. Then, he mocked Xiao and Tian. I was wondering who they were. So they're two mortals who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. They casually got an invitation and wanted to sneak into our Lifire sect. I'm telling you, don't even think about it. Here, these guards had seen many mortals who wanted to infiltrate the Lifire sect. Therefore, he said slowly after sensing that Tian had no aura. When Tian heard the guard's words, Xian Lu's anger rose. He was talking nicely to them, but this guard was acting arrogantly. It seemed that what he had heard was right. In the cultivation world, there were very few immortal cultivators as good as the Great Sun Immortal. Then, Tian left with Tian. If he allowed Tian to join such a sect, he would not be at ease. At this moment, the array lit up. Then, a woman in a red dress with two ponytails walked out of the array. As soon as the woman appeared, the array guards bowed respectfully to her. Saintess. It was the holy maiden of the Lifire sect, Huoling-er. Huoling-er looked around as soon as she appeared. Then, he slowly walked toward Tian and Tian. Seeing the red invitation in Tian's hand, his face lit up. You're the hot shot of the lower realm, right? Please follow me. Huoling-er spoke in an overbearing manner. On the contrary, Huoling-er's words carried a trace of joy. In the past few days, the hot shots of the lower realm had almost become the most popular in the entire divine world. Every time a hot shot of the lower realm was discovered, several factions would go and compete for it. Their Lifire sect naturally went everywhere to fight for it. Originally, they did not have any illusions about the method of sending out invitations. He did not expect Huoling-er, who was cultivating in the Lifire sect, to still sense the aura of his invitation card in his Lifire formation. Only then did he rush over in a hurry. They were afraid that if they were a little late, the hot shots of the lower world would run away. Tian shook his head when he heard Huoling-er's words. A cultivation sect like your Lifire sect is something that mortals like us can't reach. Thinking of the array guard's attitude, Tian had a bad impression of the Lifire sect in his heart. Mortals? Huoling-er was stunned when she heard Tian's words. The fact that this invitation card had brought them here meant that there were indeed hot shots from the lower realm among them. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to come here. However, Huoling-er did not think too much about this matter. Instead, her face turned cold and she slowly said to the guard behind her, "What happened?" Hearing Hualing's cold words, the formation guards felt a chill in their hearts. Guarding the array was a lucrative job for them. If they lost it here, they would not know what to do in the future. Thinking of this, the formation guards explained to Hualing, "Holy Maiden, we didn't know that these two were honored guests of the sect. We were wrong." From the conversation between Hualing and Xiao Tian, they knew. Xiao Tian and Tian were probably guests invited by the sect. Hualing saw their reactions and said slowly to them, "Wrong. Are you apologizing to me?" When the formation guards heard Hualing's words, they scrambled to Xiao Tian's side. "Senior, we were blind just now. Please forgive us." "Yes, Senior, we know we were wrong." Xiao Tian looked at the people at his feet, and his expression softened a little. These guards of the Li Fire sect did not look like much, but their chief seemed to be quite good. At this moment, Hualing walked up to Xiao Tian and Tian. "The two of you, these servants are insensible. Please forgive them. Please come to the Li Fire sect for a chat." Hualing's sweet voice was heard, and Xiao Tian also sighed. "Fine, Tian, let's go and take a look." The girl in charge seemed to be quite good, and the cultivator had also apologized to him. As a mortal, he had to give face to others, right? Moreover, Tian's talent could not be wasted. Hearing Xiao Tian's words, Tian naturally had no objections. When Hualing heard that Xiao Tian and Tian were willing to come to her Li Fire sect, she heaved a sigh of relief. He glared at the array guards. She also knew that after today, these guards would be replaced. Soon, Xiao Tian and Tian arrived at the Li Fire sect under Hualing's lead. In a small loft, a Manchu Han imperial feast was placed on a table. There were all kinds of delicacies. Xiao Tian and Tian were led here by a servant girl from the Li Fire clan. "The two of you, the Holy Maiden will be here soon. Have a seat first." Xiao Tian nodded in agreement. Following that, he looked down from the pavilion and saw the entire Li Fire sect's buildings. The place where cultivators lived was truly magnificent. At this moment, Hualing also slowly came to the attic. Seeing Xiao Tian and Tian, he said to them slowly, "The two of you, sit down and talk while eating." Hearing Hualing's sweet voice, Xiao Tian and Tian sat down with her. Chapter 450, Chapter 450, That person was not a mortal at all, 1. Chapter 450, That person was not a mortal at all, 1. Divine World, Li Fire Sect, Small Pavilion. Xiao Tian, Tian, and Hualing sat at the table. Hualing looked at Xiao Tian and Tian and gradually understood why Xiao Tian had called himself a mortal. Tian's aura carried the aura of a king, the aura of an emperor. In Hualing's eyes, Tian was undoubtedly the hot shot of the Tian Yuan continent. However, Xiao Tian didn't have any aura on him. He should be just like what he said, a mortal. However, from the looks of it, this hot shot from the lower realm had a good relationship with this mortal. Sitting at the table, Hualing said to Xiao Tian and the others, "I still don't know your names." Hearing Hualing's words, Tian slowly responded to her. "I am Tian, and this is my master." "You are not qualified to know my master's name." Xiao Tian smiled at Hualing when he heard Tian's words. This Tian was too arrogant. Fortunately, the lady didn't look angry at all. Hualing smiled faintly when she heard Tian's words. "All right then, young friend Tian, let's be frank. This time, we have invited the two of you to help our Li Fire sect take the test at the Drunken Immortal restaurant. As long as you pass the test, then little friend Tian will be an inner sect disciple of our Li Fire sect." Hualing Huling-er's sweet voice entered Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian's ears. When Fu Tian heard Huling-er's words, he didn't respond and continued eating. Xiao Changtian was delighted when he heard Huling-er's words. It turned out that he still had to pass the test. With Fu Tian's talent, it should not be a problem for him to pass. Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian said to Huling-er and Fu Tian, "In that case, let's go to the Drunken Immortal restaurant after dinner." As Xiao Changtian finished speaking, Fu Tian also said slowly, "I'll listen to Master." Huling-er saw Fu Tian's reaction and said slowly, "Then I'll be waiting to see little friend Fu Tian's performance." The test of the Drunken Immortal restaurant was coming soon. Huling-er naturally hoped that it would be as soon as possible. Then, Huling-er clapped her hands and a maid walked in. "Inform the people in the clan to prepare a carriage. I want to go to the Drunken Immortal restaurant with little friend Fu Tian and the others." The maid nodded respectfully when she heard Huling-er's words. Then, he left. After the meal, Xiao Changtian and Fu Tian followed Huling-er into the Li Fire clan's carriage. "Let's go." Huling-er's voice came out of the carriage. The Li Fire Sect cultivators on the carriage also brought Huling-er and the others slowly toward the Drunken Immortal restaurant. On the carriage, Xiao Changtian said to Huling-er slowly, "Miss Ling-er, I wonder how difficult the test of this Drunken Immortal restaurant is." Since he was going to the Drunken Immortal restaurant to accept the test, Xiao Changtian wanted to understand more about it first. Huling-er heard Xiao Changtian's words and glanced at Fu Tian. There are hot shots from various lower realms participating in the Drunken Immortal restaurant's test this time. Those hot shots are not weak either. Hearing Huling-er's words, Xiao Changtian also understood that there were quite a lot of competitors for Fu Tian in this test. Moreover, they all seemed to be hot shots. In that case, it would not be easy for them to go to the place. Meow. 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 At this moment, the white tiger also slowly ran out from the side and came into Xiao Changtian's arms. Xiao Changtian saw the white tiger return to his arms and stroked its back. "Where did you go just now? Don't run around." This was the cultivation world. Who would he ask for it from? Huling-er was surprised to see the cat in Xiao Changtian's hand. With her strength, she actually did not notice when a white cat had appeared on the carriage. Then, Huling-er looked at the white tiger in Xiao Changtian's hand. As if it had sensed Huling-er's gaze, the white tiger also glanced over when Huling-er was examining it. Then, in Huling-er's mind, a huge white tiger stood in the air. Roar! 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 In his mind, the white tiger roared at Huling-er. Suddenly, Huling-er seemed to have been hit by something. The true essence in her body rolled, and then she sat on the ground. Then, the white tiger's voice slowly entered her ears. "Be more respectful to Master, understand?" Huling-er was stunned when she heard the white tiger's words. "Master? Could it be the mortal in the carriage?" The white tiger was in his arms just now. Wait, Huling-er realized that she had made a serious mistake. That person was not an ordinary person at all. He was also a reclusive expert. Moreover, to be able to become the master of the white tiger, his strength must have reached an extremely terrifying level. It must be a few realms higher than him that he couldn't detect his aura. Thinking of this, Huling-er broke out in cold sweat. Fortunately, when he first met that senior, he did not show any ill intentions. Otherwise, he would bring disaster to the Li Fire sect. He did not know why this lord had brought his disciple to his Li Fire sect. Huling-er quickly said to the white tiger in front of her. "Senior white tiger, this junior will remember this. If I find out that you disrespected Master, what will happen to you?" As it spoke, the white tiger raised its sharp claws and swung them at the space in front of it. Bang! Wherever the white tiger's claws passed, the space collapsed. An indescribable terrifying aura was emitted from the white tiger's body. Hualing swallowed her saliva when she saw the power of the white tiger. Senior White Tiger, you can rest assured that I will never disrespect you. At this moment, Hualing's words were extremely respectful. If that attack had landed on the Li Fire Sect, the entire Li Fire Sect would probably have been destroyed. After Hualing finished speaking, she felt the world spin. Then, Hualing realized that she had recovered from her mind. Looking at the white tiger in Xiao Changtian's hand, his eyes were filled with respect. At this moment, Xiao Changtian sighed. Hearing Xiao Changtian's sigh, Hualing did not dare to be negligent. At this moment, how could she not know that Xiao Changtian was a peerless expert? He must have used the white tiger to suppress him just now. Then, Hualing's sweet voice slowly entered Xiao Changtian's ears. Senior, why are you sighing? As she spoke, Hualing took out a pot of water and handed it to Xiao Changtian. Chapter 451, Chapter 451, As Worthy of a Sect with a Divine Lord, 1. Chapter 451, As Worthy of a Sect with a Divine Lord, 1. Divine Realm, Hualing's carriage. Xiao Changtian looked at the water bottle that Hualing handed over and slowly took it. Seeing Hualing's expression, Xiao Changtian didn't know why, but he felt that Hualing had changed a lot. Then, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Hualing, This drunken immortal inn has sent so many geniuses to take the test. I wonder what kind of results Tian can achieve. When Tian heard Xiao Changtian's words, he understood something. Listening to his master's words, could it be that his master's test for him was in that drunken immortal restaurant? Then he had to perform well. With this thought in mind, Tian said to Xiao Changtian slowly. Don't worry, master. I'll definitely take the lead in that drunken immortal restaurant. Hearing Tian's words, Xiao Changtian also glanced at him. It was a good thing that Tian was confident, but as his master, he was not confident. However, she had never taught him any spirit skills or cultivation methods. If the other hot shots joined some cultivation sections. If he mastered some spirit skills and techniques, wouldn't Tian suffer a huge loss? At this moment, Xiao Changtian also said to Hualing, Miss Hualing, what do you think? Hualing, took a deep breath after hearing Xiao Changtian's words. He looked at Tian. If Tian had said that he wanted to get first place, then he would have been the one to win. Hualing naturally did not believe it at all. She thought that the hot shots from the lower realm were not afraid of tigers. However, after witnessing the white tiger's strength and Xiao Changtian's immeasurable strength, he was shocked. Hualing felt that what Tian had said just now was not bragging. It seemed that he really had the ability to take the top spot in the drunken immortal restaurant. Hualing responded to Xiao Changtian slowly. Senior, I feel that little friend Tian will definitely be able to come out on top. If Tian could get the first place, then for their Li Fire clan, it would be a huge loss. The benefits were naturally countless. It was possible for them to directly advance to a first-rate faction in the divine realm. There was even a chance to reach the legendary heavens beyond. At least, that was what the Golden Emperor had told the heavenly gates a few days ago. Hualing was excited as she thought about this. However, she could not figure it out no matter how hard she thought. How could a figure like Xiao Changtian come to a small sect like their Li Fire Sect? Xiao Changtian's eyes lit up when he heard Hualing's words. The holy maiden of the Li Fire Sect also seemed to think very highly of Tian. Logically speaking, as the holy maiden, she had no reason to side with him. Since that was the case, it seemed that Tian's talent was indeed very good. Even the Holy Virgin of the Li Fire Sect thought so highly of him. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian felt that the possibility of Tian joining the Li Fire Sect had greatly increased. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, the carriage suddenly shook violently. What happened? Huoling felt the change in the carriage and shouted to the outside. There was a senior sitting in this car. If she destroyed the Leaf Fire Sect with a single move, she would be the sinner of the Leaf Fire Sect. Saintess, there's an enemy attack. Eh. The voice of a Leaf Fire Sect disciple came from outside. Following that, the Leaf Fire Sect disciple let out a miserable cry and fell to the ground. Master, I'll go out and take a look. At this moment, Tian followed Huoling out. He wanted to see who was outside that actually dared to stop his master's carriage. Tian wanted to stop Tian when he saw him leave. But after thinking about it, he decided against it. Without a doubt, those who attacked the Leaf Fire Sect's carriage were definitely cultivators. As for the reason, he, a mortal, could not interfere. Let Holy Maiden Huoling solve it herself. Even if they couldn't defeat him, why would a group of cultivators attack a mortal like him? However, if Tian went to the Drunken Immortal's tower to accept the test, he would meet cultivators sooner or later. Letting him go out and take a look first was also beneficial to him. Then, Tian said to Tian. Tian, don't act rashly. Tian could just watch the fight between these cultivators. If he fought them without caring about his life, wouldn't he be sending his head to the ground? At this moment, arrows descended from the sky outside the Leaf Fire Sect's carriage. Huoling looked at the arrows coming from the sky, and the fiery red true essence in her hands slowly condensed. Then, it formed a wall of fire in front of him. The wall of fire formed and blocked all the arrows that came at him. Raindrop Pavilion. Looking at the arrows on the ground in front of her, Huoling slowly said a name. The Raindrop Pavilion had always been enemies with their Leaf Fire Sect. He didn't expect that they would actually come here today to intercept him. Then, a clear voice was heard. Holy Maiden Ling, I heard that your sect has found a hot shot, so the Pavilion of Raindrops specially came to congratulate you. Are you satisfied with this gift? As soon as he finished speaking, a man in green clothes and a bamboo hat slowly appeared in front of Huoling and the others. Seeing this man, Huoling slowly said. Tina, I didn't expect you to come personally to give me a gift. Tian, the divine son Tingyu, was also a god, on the same level as Huoling Hearing Huoling's words, Tian also replied with a smile. Why? It seems that Holy Maiden Huoling doesn't welcome me very much. But it doesn't matter. Little brother beside you, you're the hot shot that the Leaf Fire Sect found, right? Our Pavilion of Raindrops is a straightforward person. We can give you double the benefits the Leaf Fire Sect has given you. As long as you come to our Raindrop Pavilion. At this moment, Tian looked at Tian, who was beside Huoling and said slowly to him. With his eyesight, he could still tell that Tian was extraordinary. At this moment, Tian looked at Tian and said. You're disturbing my master. Tian was stunned when she heard Tian's words. Then, Tian's voice continued. Also, you're too noisy. Go to hell. As soon as Tian finished speaking, Tian and the others saw a huge golden fist fly over. Bang! Wherever the golden fist passed, the people of the Pavilion of Raindrops all turned into a bloody mist. Huoling looked at the scene in front of her and was dumbfounded. Tian's strength was about the same as hers. She knew that they couldn't beat Tian. However, he did not expect to be punched into a bloody mist. Miss Huoling, let's continue our journey. Now, Tian wanted to go to the Drunken Immortal Inn as soon as possible to accept the test. Alright. Huoling also got into the carriage after hearing what Tian said. After getting on the carriage, Tian asked them slowly. How is it? Did the enemy escape? They're all dead. Hearing Tian's words, Tian slowly responded. If they disturbed Tian's advance, it would be a death sentence in Tian's heart. Tian looked at Huoling with envy when he heard Tian's words. As expected of a sect with a divine lord, they were able to suppress and kill their enemies. Chapter 452, Chapter 452, I've never seen cultivators fight up close, 1. Chapter 452, I've never seen cultivators fight up close, 1. Degree. Divine World, on the Leaf Fire Sect's carriage. After hearing Fu Tian's words, Shao Changtian was now very assured of the Leaf Fire Sect's strength. It seemed that the Leaf Fire Sect was one of the top factions in the cultivation world. The enemy's sneak attack was nothing to fear in their eyes. This way, when Fu Tian joined their sect in the future, his safety would be guaranteed. As Shao Changtian thought this, the Leaf Fire Sect's carriage slowly moved forward. After a short period of time, Shao Changtian and the others slowly arrived at the area of the Drunken Immortal restaurant. As the carriage entered the area of the Drunken Immortal restaurant, a commotion could be heard from outside. Shao Changtian lifted the curtain of the carriage and saw them on a street. At this moment, cultivators in gorgeous clothes were walking on the street. These cultivators all wore long sabers, sachets, jade pendants, and other ornaments. This was a cultivator. Looking at their glamorous appearances, Shao Changtian sighed in his heart. Then, Hualing's voice was heard. "Senior, the Drunken Immortal restaurant is just ahead." At this moment, Hualing sat beside Shao Changtian and pulled open the curtains. He pointed at a tall building in front of them and said to Shao Changtian. Shao Changtian also looked in the direction Hualing was pointing. In Shao Changtian's eyes, a tall building stood at the end of the street. The top of a tall building, reaching straight into the clouds, making it impossible for people to see the top clearly. Every floor of the pavilion was shining with five-colored light. Seeing this Drunken Immortal restaurant, Shao Changtian nodded to Hualing. Needless to say, this tall building must be some kind of magic treasure of those cultivators. It was said that those who could use magic treasures to select disciples were generally large factions. One had to know that even the powerful Great Sun Sect, where the Great Sun Immortal was from, did not use Dharma treasures to select disciples. The carriage slowly moved forward, and Shao Changtian and the others arrived at a group of buildings. Looking at the surrounding buildings, Shao Changtian said to Hualing, "Miss Hualing, where are we going now?" Hualing continued to explain after hearing Shao Changtian's words. In her opinion, with Shao Changtian's strength, he didn't care or remember these things. Therefore, it was best for her to answer. Perhaps he could use this opportunity to close the relationship between the Leaf Fire Sect and this senior. Therefore, Hualing was very patient and meticulous when she introduced Shao Changtian. Hualing pointed in the direction of the carriage and said in a sweet voice, "Senior, different forces have their own residences in the Drunken Immortal restaurant area. Over there is the Flying Elephant Sect's residence, and over there is the Joyous Union Pavilion's residence." Hualing pointed at the surrounding pavilions. On those pavilions, the names of their respective sects were written. Moreover, the deeper they went, the stronger those forces became. Shao Changtian listened to Hualing's introduction and sighed in his heart. The Leaf Fire Sect was really powerful. It was definitely the kind that was famous in the cultivation world. Otherwise, why would there be so many people participating in their Drunken Immortal restaurant's test? At this moment, Hualing pointed at a stone door in front of them. "After passing through the stone door, we will arrive at our residence." Shao Changtian looked at the stone door in front of him and nodded slowly. Then, Hualing pulled down the curtains again. After arriving here, most of the factions here recognized their Leaf Fire Sect. Some were good friends of their Leaf Fire Sect, while others were enemies of their Leaf Fire Sect. Considering Shao Changtian was in the carriage, Hualing did not want to cause any trouble. At the same time, two figures in green stood side by side on the stone door. "Eldest young master, the Leaf Fire Sect's carriage is here. It looks like second young master has failed." The person who spoke was a cultivator from the Pavilion of Raindrops. A tall man stood in front of him. The man looked at the carriage Hualing, and the others were in. His eyes flickered, and no one knew what he was thinking. This man was none other than Tian, the previous holy son of the Raindrop Pavilion. Originally, Tian was the most powerful person in Tingyu to be the holy son. 3. It was just that after her younger brother became an adult, Tian automatically gave up his position as the holy son. Behind the scenes, his younger brother Tian would take over as the holy son of the Pavilion of Raindrops. Give me my bow. Tian looked at Hualing's carriage and said slowly to a servant beside him. According to his understanding of Tian, it was considered a failure. He shouldn't have not returned at this time. There was only one possibility for her not to return now, and that was that Tian had been killed. Needless to say, the murderer was the Holy Virgin of the Leaf Fire Sect, Hualing. Tmg Yan had doted on her younger brother since she was young, so when she saw Hualing's carriage return, she was shocked. How could he not be angry? After Tian finished speaking, a disciple from the Pavilion of Raindrops quickly handed a jade-green longbow to Tian. Tmg Yan held the longbow in his hand and slowly pulled the bowstring with one hand. On his right palm, his true essence slowly condensed into an arrow made of raindrops. Drip. 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 The sound of water dripping could be heard from the arrow. Whoosh. Then, with a whoosh, he flew away. The long arrow pierced through the air, and the carriage that Hualing, and the others were in seemed to have sensed something. The horse came to a sudden halt, and with a bang, a stone pit appeared in front of the carriage. It was where the arrow landed. As the carriage came to a sudden stop, Tian, who was sitting in the carriage, also felt a tremor. He hurriedly grabbed the armrest of the carriage. What's going on? Could it be another sneak attack? Tian sat down again and thought to himself. It seemed that there were really many people who had designs on the Leaf Fire Sect. But thinking about it, it was understandable. The Leaf Fire Sect was so powerful that it was understandable that someone wanted to cut off his flesh. Hualing, who was beside Tian, was a little angry. This was the second time they had been attacked today. If it was any other day, it would be fine, but today, there was a powerful senior sitting in the carriage. Their Leaf Fire Sect had been attacked repeatedly. Didn't this leave a bad impression on Senior? How was he going to build a good relationship with Senior after this? Hualing said to Tian slowly. Senior, please wait on the carriage for a moment. I'll go down and settle this right away. Tian saw Hualing get off the carriage and said to Tian, let's go down and take a look. Previously, Tian did not get off the carriage because he wanted to see just how strong the Leaf Fire Sect was. After the last time he had killed the enemy, Tian had full confidence in the Leaf Fire Sect. There shouldn't be any danger if he followed. Moreover, he had been in the cultivation world for so many years, but he had never seen cultivators fight up close. Chapter 453, The Senior Hidden in the Dark, 1. Chapter 453, The Senior Hidden in the Dark, 1. Divine Realm, Drunken Immortal Restaurant District. Hualing slowly walked down from the carriage and saw the stone pit in front of the carriage. He looked around and his gaze landed on the stone door. Tian. Hualing looked at the man above the stone door and met his gaze. Her jade-like hands were clenched tightly. On the stone door, Tian held his longbow and aimed it at Hualing. He slowly said to her. Hualing, where's my brother? As he spoke, an arrow appeared on the longbow, containing endless power. At this moment, Hualing was surrounded by a group of cultivators. Whether it was mortals or immortal cultivators, they were not surprised by the liveliness. Everyone loved to watch. Look, this seems to be the Leaf Fire Sect's Hualing. Above her is the Raindrop Pavilion's Tian. It seems like enemies are jealous when they meet and are about to fight. It's said that the Leaf Fire sect has found a hot shot. And the Raindrop Pavilion hasn't been found yet. From the looks of it, they're probably going to snatch the Leaf Fire sect's hot shot. Yes, yes. Huoling looked at the longbow in Ting Yan's hand as she heard the chattering around her. It was also because she clenched her hands tightly. Her strength was indeed inferior to Ting Yan's. If they fought, she would definitely lose. However, there was a powerful senior sitting in the carriage. As she thought about this in her heart, Huoling also slowly transmitted her voice to Ting Yan. Ting Yan, let's settle this later. Today, there's a powerful senior in my carriage. I advise you to stop. Hearing Huoling's voice transmission, Ting Yan, who was on top of the stone door, also laughed out loud. Huoling, when did you become so secretive? You even said that there was a senior in your carriage. You'd better save your breath on this kind of trick to scare children. Cut the crap. Where's my brother? Otherwise, I won't show any mercy with the arrow in my hand. When the surrounding cultivators heard Ting Yan's words, they began to discuss. What did Huoling say to Ting Yan? What senior? What the hell is she doing? If there really was a senior, would he not come out to suppress the situation at this time? Look, there really are people coming out of the carriage. Following this voice, everyone looked towards the Leaf Fire sect's carriage. On the Leaf Fire clan's carriage, Xiao Chang Tian and Fu Tian were slowly walking to Huoling's side. Miss Huoling. After getting off the carriage, Xiao Changda walked toward Huoling. After all, this was a place where immortal cultivators stayed. He still had to stand beside the big shot. This was the safest way. Moreover, he had heard it just now. Those cultivators said that there was another senior on the carriage. It was likely that a senior of the Leaf Fire sect had secretly followed Huoling to protect their holy maiden. With that thought in mind, Xiao Changtian also pulled Fu Tian to Huoling's side. This Fu Tian was a little dumb. Why didn't he know to hug someone's thigh? After Xiao Changtian got off the carriage, Huoling said to him respectfully. Senior. Xiao Changtian heard Huoling's words and smiled at her. Miss Huoling, you don't have to be so polite. Xiao Changtian knew why Huoling called him senior. It must be that when the immortal De Yang asked for the invitation card from them, he also introduced himself. Immortal Big Sun loved calligraphy, so it was normal for the people he befriended to love calligraphy. Huoling knew that his calligraphy was good, so it was normal for her to call him senior. However, Xiao Changtian was still not used to being called senior by Huoling in front of so many cultivators. When the surrounding cultivators heard Huoling call Xiao Changtian senior, they also said. This is the senior of the Leaf Fire sect. He looks so young. But I don't see any aura on his body. He looks like a mortal. It can't be. Is there a need for Huoling to do this at a time like this? Wouldn't this cause the Leaf Fire sect's reputation to be ruined? Fu Tian stood beside Xiao Changtian, even though the cultivators were speaking softly. However, he still remembered who said what. Looking at those people, a cold light flashed in Fu Tian's eyes. These people actually dared to slander his master. If there was a chance, he would definitely teach them a lesson. Yan, who was standing on top of the stone door, looked down at Xiao Changtian, who was beside Huoling. He squinted his eyes. He could sense that there was no aura on Xiao Changtian's body. Moreover, looking at his age, it was obvious that he was about the same age as her. How could such a person be a senior with profound strength in the Leaf Fire sect? Huoling was trying to intimidate him. Since I'll destroy your Leaf Fire sect's reputation today, then I'll go look for my brother. With this thought in mind, Ting Yan released the arrow in his hand. Whoosh! Just like before, the arrow shot towards Huoling and the others. Look, Ting Yan has made his move. Looking at the power of these arrows, Ting Yan should have used his full strength. Hualing, and the others probably can't withstand it. While the surrounding cultivators were discussing, Hualing, was also very angry. This Ting Yan was so reckless and dared to contradict this senior. Who knew what the consequences would be? Xiao Changtian looked at the arrow formed by the rain and sighed. The ability of this immortal cultivator was truly formidable. When could he be like these cultivators? Borrowing the power of nature, it could unleash powerful attacks. He didn't know how Hualing would react next. He should be using an awesome spirit skill. With that thought in mind, Xiao Changtian also looked at Hualing. Hualing felt Xiao Changtian's gaze on her, and she was nervous. What did senior mean by that gaze? He would definitely not be able to block Ting Yan's full-powered arrow. Moreover, the senior was standing right beside him. If he attacked in front of him, wouldn't that be showing off his skills in front of an expert? For a moment, Hualing did not know what to do. At this moment, the arrow suddenly stopped in midair. He didn't move forward at all, as if he was frozen there. What happened? Everyone looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. Even Ting Yan himself looked at the arrow in the air with an incredulous expression. At this moment, on Xiao Changtian's shoulder, the two antennae of the chaos ant were swaying slowly. A silver light flashed. Bang! 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 The chaos ant's antennae shook once again, and the arrow in the air turned into pieces and scattered. How is that possible? Seeing his arrow shatter without any warning, Ting Yan exclaimed. Xiao Changtian looked at the scene in the sky and admired Hualing. The Leaf Fire sect was indeed powerful. The experts hidden in the dark had not appeared at all. The enemy's attack was automatically neutralized. Chapter 454, The Primal Chaos and Attacks. 1. Divine Realm, Drunken Immortal Restaurant Area. At the stone door the surrounding cultivators watched as the arrow shattered without any warning. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. In their perception, Hualing and the others did not have any true essence fluctuations. Then, the arrow shot by Ting Yan shattered. Then, the surrounding cultivators looked at Xiao Changtian beside Hualing with fear. Was it really as Hualing had said to Ting Yan through voice transmission, that this person was a senior with extraordinary strength? In that case, the senior must have heard all the guesses they had about him. Thinking of this, some cultivators in the crowd could not help but slap their mouths. It was all his fault. Why did he say such nonsense? That senior's strength must have reached a level that they could not compare to. If they were to pursue the matter, no matter how many lives they had, they would not be able to live. Hualing looked at Xiao Changtian beside her with respect. After knowing that Xiao Changtian was the owner of the White Tiger, she was also looking forward to seeing how Xiao Changtian would fight. He did not expect Senior's strength to be even more terrifying than he had imagined. He was so close to him that he could not sense any true essence fluctuations in his body. From the looks of it, Senior was just like a mortal. At the same time, Ting Yan stood above the stone door and looked at the cultivators below whispering. There was also the arrow that he had just disappeared into thin air. Impossible. How could such an expert appear in the Leaf Fire sect? Even if the Leaf Fire sect's ancestor personally made a move, it was impossible for him to not notice it. As for the person beside Hualing he had checked it over and over again. If he was really a peerless expert, why would he rely on a small sect like the Leaf Fire sect? As he thought about this, Ting Yan was also a little angry. He jumped up from the stone door and stopped in midair. Then, he said angrily to Hualing and Xiao Changtian, "A mere mortal dares to play tricks. 10,000 arrows." As soon as he finished speaking, the true essence on Ting Yan's body also exploded, and the true essence on his body continuously surged out. Boom! 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 Thunder rumbled in the sky, and then a few dark clouds slowly gathered. In the dark clouds, Raindrops slowly emerged and condensed into arrows, aiming at Tian and Huling. Tian, who was below, was stunned when he heard Ting Yan's words. Then, he was speechless. He had lost just to watch the show, so he had been shot. He even said that he was pretending to be a ghost and that he did not do anything. Wasn't this an injustice? If he wasn't immortal, Tian would have beaten him up and talked to him. After he opened the path of invincibility, he would definitely find him and lecture him. Then, looking at the power that Ting Yan had created, Tian slowly looked over at Huling who was beside him. This power was much stronger than before. Artificial rain. However, judging from Huling method of breaking the arrow just now, there shouldn't be any problem. When the surrounding cultivators saw Ting Yan attack angrily, they also sighed. This is the unique technique of the Pavilion of Raindrops. One wonder what effect it will have. It might not have been senior of the exalted. As the holy maiden of the Li Fire sect, it's normal for Huling to have divine artifacts on her. However, those divine artifacts are gone after being used once. This time, we can see clearly if the Li Fire sect really has a senior. Huling looked at Ting Yan in the sky and was not moved by his power. With senior's unfathomable strength, standing by his side gave him a sense of security. Seeing Huling calm expression, Tian was relieved. It seemed that Huling would have no problem dealing with it. At the same time, on Xiao Changshan's shoulder, the Chaos Ant was looking at Ting Yan. You're courting death. A majestic and unquestionable voice exploded in Ting Yan's mind. At this moment, in Ting Yan's mind, a huge Chaos Ant stood in the air. The Chaos Ant had an ancient and desolate aura. The two antennae were glowing with a silver-white light. Around the two antennae, space would occasionally close and split open, looking extremely mysterious. In the mental world, Ting Yan looked at the Chaos Ant in front of him, his eyes already covered in fear. These were the Chaos Ants recorded in the ancestral records, one of the most ancient divine beasts. His two antennae grasped the most elusive spatial power in the world. Why would a divine beast like the Chaos Ant appear here? Ting Yan looked at the Chaos Ant in front of him and knelt down. Senior Chaos Ant, I don't know what I've done to offend you. Please spare my dog life. I can do anything for Senior Chaos Ant in the future. The Chaos Ant looked at Ting Yan, who had lost all his dignity, and snorted coldly. A breath came out of the Chaos Ant's nostrils. Under the effect of his breathing, Ting Yan also felt his body continuously changing in various spaces. When his body stabilized, Ting Yan also felt a wave of dizziness. Then, Ting Yan continued to kneel on the ground and said slowly to the Chaos Ant, Senior, please calm down. Have you forgotten what you said about my master just now? How do you expect me to calm down? At this moment, the Chaos Ant finally responded to Ting Yan with a hint of anger in its voice. Hearing the Chaos Ant's words, Ting Yan also felt his head rumble. The master of Senior Chaos Ant? How was this possible? If he saw Senior Chaos Ant's master, he would have no time to curry favor with him. Why would she offend him? With this thought in mind, Ting Yan also cried to the Chaos Ant, Senior Chaos Ant, I really don't know when I mentioned your master. You just said that he was immortal. Do you want me to help you remember? At this moment, the Chaos Ant's antennae moved slightly. Ting Yan saw the space around him split open, and a terrifying spatial storm slowly formed in front of him. So it was that senior from earlier. Hearing the Chaos Ant's words, Ting Yan also felt despair in his heart. No wonder he couldn't sense Senior's aura just now. It turned out that the other party's strength was too much higher than his, and he had no way of detecting it at all. At this moment, Ting Yan looked at the spatial storm around him and crawled toward the Chaos Ant. Please give me a chance. I will definitely apologize to you. As he spoke, Ting Yan kept kowtowing to the Chaos Ant. The Chaos Ant looked at Ting Yan in front of it and slowly said to him, Then don't disappoint me. As soon as he finished speaking, Ting Yan saw the chaos ant in front of him slowly disappear. Following that, the space around him continued to open up. Everything returned to the divine world. Chapter 455, Senior, please forgive me. 1. Divine Realm, Drunken Immortal Restaurant. In front of the stone door, in the eyes of the surrounding cultivators, Ting Yan's figure was motionless in midair. The arrows formed by the raindrops from the dark clouds above did not fall for a long time. Looking at the scene in the sky, a cultivator in the crowd slowly said, "Look at Ting Yan in the air. Doesn't he look like that arrow?" Hearing this cultivator's words, the surrounding cultivators nodded in agreement. The arrow just now also stopped in mid-air for a moment before exploding. They turned into pieces. Could it be that Ting Yan in front of him was going to fall down inexplicably like the arrow just now? The surrounding cultivators thought so and were shocked. Looking at Hualing beside Xiao Tian, his eyes were filled with fear. If it was really as they had guessed, then it meant one thing. Xiao Tian, who was beside Hualing was probably an unfathomable senior. At this moment, a cultivator looked up at the sky and pointed at Ting Yan. "Look, Ting Yan fell." As the cultivator's voice fell, everyone saw Ting Yan whoosh in the air. His body fell to the ground. Bang! Ting Yan's body crashed into the ground from mid-air, creating a stone pit on the ground. Then, everyone looked at Ting Yan, who was on the ground. At this moment, Ting Yan, who was on the ground, no longer had the dignified appearance from before. His entire body was covered in dust, and there were some bloodstains on his body. It seemed that the fall just now had hurt him quite a bit. Then, everyone saw Ting Yan slowly stand up from the pit. Ting Yan stood up from the ground and shook his head. Then, when he saw Xiao Tian in front of him, Ting Yan did not dare to be negligent. He crawled to Xiao Tian and knelt down in front of him. "Senior Shimu, I was wrong just now. I want dare to be a real person again." As he spoke, Ting Yan kowtowed to Xiao Tian. Xiao Tian was stunned when he saw Ting Yan's expression. Then, he understood and looked at Hualing beside him. It seemed that the Fire Sect senior had heard this fellow speak rudely to him just now. He had to take care of his own feelings. After defeating this guy, he would let him apologize to him. From the looks of it, this Fire Sect was not bad. At the very least, there was no problem with the character of the Saintess and those higher-ups who were more powerful. In this way, he would be more at ease when Tian became their disciple in the future. However, logically speaking, although the Fire Sect took care of his feelings, it was not to the extent of asking this fellow to kowtow to him. After all, a cultivator kowtowing in front of a mortal. He was afraid that this was the only one in the cultivation world. Then, Xiao Tian saw Tian beside him. He immediately understood. On the carriage, Xiao Tian remembered Hualing telling him about it. It was very likely that Tian would win the first place in the test of the Drunken Immortal Restaurant. This senior from the Fire Sect would take care of his feelings so much. It was obvious that he had high hopes for Tian. From the looks of it, the chances of entering the Fire Sect after Tian were still very high. Thinking of this, Xiao Tian couldn't help but smile. The surrounding cultivators looked at Ting Yan, who was kowtowing to Xiao Tian. Looking at Xiao Tian, his eyes were full of respect and fear. Ting Yan was a well-known bully among them. They didn't expect him to be so humble in front of this senior. Some of the cultivators who had just called Xiao Tian a mortal couldn't help but shiver. The strength of the sect they were in was not much different from that of the Pavilion of Raindrops. However, their status in the sect was far inferior to Ting Yan's. If Xiao Tian really pursued them, they didn't even dare to think about their ending. The smile on Xiao Changshan's face looked like the smile of death to them. They looked at Xiao Tian, wanting to see how he would deal with this Ting Yan. Bang! 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 Ting Yan knelt in front of Xiao Tian. After which, he slowly said to Xiao Tian, "Senior, please forgive me. Hearing Ting Yan's words, Xiao Changtian recovered from his thoughts. Looking at Ting Yan in front of him, Xiao Changtian saw that he wouldn't get up unless he forgave him. He also slowly said to Huoling, Miss Huoling, you can handle this. After all, he was defeated by their Li Fire Sect seniors and had even apologized to him. He still had to return it to her. Huoling was stunned when she heard Xiao Changshan's words. She wanted to see how Xiao Changtian would deal with Ting Yan. After all, Ting Yan's Pavilion of Raindrops was considered a great enemy to their Li Fire Sect. He didn't expect Xiao Changtian to hand it over to him. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Huoling quickly walked over and slowly said to Xiao Changtian, all right, senior. Huoling said to Xiao Changtian as she slowly walked towards Ting Yan. Seeing that Huoling had gone to deal with Ting Yan, Xiao Changtian pulled Tian back to the carriage. Xiao Changtian felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by so many cultivators. After Xiao Changtian brought Tian back to the carriage, Huoling stood in front of Ting Yan. The true essence in his hand slowly gathered and formed a fiery red rune in front of him. As soon as the flame rune appeared, it slowly approached Ting Yan's body. Ting Yan looked at the fire runes that were attacking him and did not resist at all. In his opinion, Xiao Chang was willing to hand him over to Huoling. It was already the greatest gift to him, as long as it wasn't in Xiao Changshan's hands. Ting Yan believed that with the help of the Raindrop Pavilion's power, he would be able to escape from the Li Fire Sect very quickly. Huoling's flame rune slowly landed on Ting Yan's body, sealing his vital essence. At this time, Ting Yan was unable to use any trace of true essence on his body at all. He was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. After doing all this, Huoling looked at the surrounding cultivators and shouted at them, what are you looking at? You can all leave. With the surrounding cultivators blocking her way, how could she bring Xiao Changtian to their territory? As soon as Huoling finished speaking, those cultivators naturally did not dare to stay any longer. They all tactfully left. He wanted to inform his sect that the Li Fire Sect had an extraordinary senior. From now on, the Li Fire Sect's strength would probably be far superior to theirs. Following that, wherever the Li Fire Sect's carriage passed, the cultivators automatically cleared a path. Huoling brought Xiao Changtian and the others slowly towards their Li Fire Sect residence. Chapter 456, There's no need for them to continue to exist. 1. Divine Realm, Raindrop Pavilion. In a certain region of the Divine Realm, a tall residence stood on the ground. The sky above the mansion was covered with dark clouds, and not a single ray of sunlight could seep in. Moreover, there was a faint drizzle under the dark clouds. There was also a huge plaque above the main door of the house. There were 3 huge words written on it, Raindrop Pavilion. At this moment, in the main hall of the residence, a middle-aged man in dark green clothes sat on a chair. Beside him, a maid in a green floral dress was holding a cup of green tea. She slowly walked to his side and placed the teacup on the table beside the middle-aged man. At this moment, the middle-aged man slowly picked up the teacup on the table. After taking a sip, the middle-aged man slowly said to the old man who had walked in, how is it? Is there any news about an and Yan? He had sent Ting Yan and Ting Engshi to deal with the Li Fire Sect. As the leader of a sect, he had not lowered his face to deal with a junior. Upon hearing the middle-aged man's words, the old man who had just walked in respectfully said to him, Pavilion Master, Young Master, and the others, they had probably fallen into the hands of the Li Fire Sect. Bang! As soon as the old man finished speaking, the teacup in the middle-aged man's hand shattered into pieces. It exploded. At this moment, the maid who was standing beside the middle-aged man was also shocked. He quickly squatted on the ground and picked up the fragments. What did you say? Didn't the news say that Huoling and the hot shot of the lower realm were on the carriage? How could Yan and the others not be able to kill his opponents? The middle-aged man stood up from his seat and walked to the old man. Pavilion Master, please calm down. According to our scouts, an expert seems to have appeared on the Leaf Fire Sect's side. Moreover, that person hasn't even made a move yet, and young Lord Tian has already been beaten to the ground. When the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops heard the old man's words, she frowned and faced the old man. An expert from the Leaf Fire Sect appeared? Could it be that old fellow from the Leaf Fire Sect was secretly following them? Looks like the Leaf Fire Sect's ambition is not small. They think that they can ascend to the heavens just because they found a hot shot. As he thought this, the Pavilion Lord of the Pavilion of Raindrops said disdainfully. Then, he waved his sleeve and slowly said to the old man, "Pass on my Pavilion Master's order. Everyone in the rain listening pavilion is to leave the Leaf Fire Sect and save the young master. Leaf Fire Sect, you are courting death. Don't blame me." The Pavilion of Raindrops stood in front of the main hall's door and looked at the sky outside as it spoke slowly. Their Pavilion of Raindrops and the Leaf Fire Sect had been fighting for so many years. It was time to find an opportunity to end it. This time, it became the excuse for the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops to start an all-out war. After all, he had to take revenge for stealing his son. The old man behind the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops looked at the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops in the main hall. She quickly lowered her head and slipped away from him. He was the chief butler of the Pavilion of Raindrops and had served the Pavilion Master for many years. Naturally, she knew what he was thinking at this moment. This was exactly how he wanted to kill someone. Soon, the mighty group from the Pavilion of Raindrops flew towards the direction of the Drunken Immortal restaurant. In the eyes of many cultivators, the cultivators of the Pavilion of Raindrops were sitting on powerful spirit ships in midair. On the spirit ship, the cultivators of the Pavilion of Raindrops were fully equipped. Have you heard? The Pavilion Master and young Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops have been captured by the Holy Maiden of the Leaf Fire Sect. That's right. I heard that the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops flew into a rage out of humiliation and wanted to wage war against the Leaf Fire Sect on the spot. However, I think this Raindrop Pavilion is undoubtedly an egg hitting a stone. Have you heard about the Leaf Fire Sect? They recently hugged a senior's thigh. It is said that on that day, that senior stood there without any true essence flowing through his body and beat Ting Yen until he knelt down and begged for mercy. That strength is probably that of a God Emperor or even the legendary God Emperor. Looking at the mysterious boat of the Pavilion of Raindrops flying past in the sky, the cultivators below also whispered. At this moment, the cultivator in hemp clothes also felt someone pat his shoulder. Turning around, the hemp-robed cultivator saw that a few people had appeared behind him out of nowhere. In front of him, a man with ice-blue hair held his shoulder and said slowly to him, "Tell me, what's going on with that Leaf Fire Sect senior?" Sensing the immense force coming from his shoulder, the hemp-robed cultivator did not dare to be negligent. He quickly said to the man in front of him, "Milords, this lowly one has also heard rumors. It is said that the Leaf Fire Sect only recently befriended that senior. Get to the point. What characteristics does that senior have?" The ice-blue-haired man tightened his grip on the hemp-robed cultivator as he spoke slowly. The hemp-robed cultivator felt that the force on his shoulder had increased by a little, and he hurriedly said with a sad face, "Senior, I remember now." That senior heard that he didn't seem to have any aura on his body. He looked like a mortal. The blue-haired man slowly let go of the sack-robed cultivator's shoulder. With a cold expression, she slowly said to him, "Watch your mouth." The linen-robed cultivator looked relieved when he was released by the ice-blue man. "Thank you, sir." "Thank you, sir." Then, she hurriedly left the ice-blue man's line of sight and ran to the side. After the linen-robed cultivator left, the ice-blue-haired man slowly walked to the side of another man. "Master, it seems that you are right. Senior went to the Drunken Immortal restaurant first." Upon hearing the words of the blue-haired man, Tian slowly nodded his head. They were none other than Tian, the Ice Empress, the Demon Empress, the May Empress, the Medicine Empress, and the Sword Empress from the Tian Yuan continent. After Tian and the others heard about the news of the heavenly gates, they also wanted to look for Tian and listen to his suggestions. Through Mu Jiuhuang and the others, Tian found out that Tian had brought Tian to the Leaf Fire sect of the Divine World. Only then did Tian and the others hurriedly rush over, staring into the distance. It seems that Senior has long noticed that something is wrong with this matter. At this moment, the Ice Emperor slowly spoke to Tian. I heard from those cultivators that those cultivators who just flew over seem to be going to find trouble with Senior. Yes, since we've bumped into them, there's no need for them to continue existing. Tian stared at the direction the spirit ship was heading in as he spoke to the people in the surroundings. After that, Tian brought the May Empress and the others along as they transformed into a streak of light. He chased after them in the direction of the Pavilion of Raindrops. Chapter 457, Returning to the Stone Gate. 1. Divine Realm. Drunken Immortal Restaurant District. Huolinger brought Tian to their Leaf Fire sect's exclusive area. He also brought Tian and the others to the best room here. At this moment, in the room of the attic, Huolinger's expression was a little solemn as she slowly walked in from the door. When she saw the table, she brought him over. Senior, I received news that the entire Pavilion of Raindrops is coming over, and they want to see you. Huolinger had not expected that the Pavilion of Raindrops would mobilize the entire sect to come here. When she received the news, she had already sent a message to her sect for help. However, it was probably too late. At this moment, Huolinger naturally ran over to listen to Xiao Changshan's suggestion. Tian was stunned when he heard Huolinger's words. What was this Raindrop Pavilion? He had never even heard of it. Why did she come to see him? Tian remembered that he had come to the world of cultivators, but he shouldn't have had any dealings with any cultivation sections. He couldn't figure it out. Tian thought for a while and shook his head. At this moment, Huolinger saw Tian shaking his head and felt nervous. In fact, she didn't dare to tell Tian about her. She was also afraid that the Pavilion of Raindrops would provoke Tian again and again. This senior felt that their Leaf Fire sect did not take good care of him and was dissatisfied with their Leaf Fire sect. Then, Xiao Changshan's voice slowly entered Huolinger's ears. Miss Huolinger, are you sure you're not mistaken? After thinking for a while, Tian felt that it was impossible for him to know the Pavilion of Raindrops. Why would he want to see me? Huolinger was stunned when she heard Xiao Changshan's words. Then, she shook her head. The Pavilion of Raindrops had a mighty presence, and countless cultivators saw it wherever it passed. There was no way it could be wrong. At this moment, a Leaf Fire sect cultivator walked in from outside the door. He slowly said to Huolinger, Saintess, the Tingwu soldiers of the Pavilion of Raindrops request an audience. Huolinger's expression changed when she heard this name. Ting Wubing was the butler of the Pavilion of Raindrops. It was said that his strength had also reached the Divine Lord level. He was the strongest person in the Raindrop Pavilion other than the Pavilion Master. Huolinger heard her subordinates report and slowly looked at Tian. Naturally, Tian would have the final say on whether or not he wanted these weapons. Tian felt Huolinger's words and had some questions in his mind. Could it be that he really came to see me? As he thought about this, Tian slowly said to Huolinger, Miss Huolinger, please take me to see her. One Huolinger nodded at Tian. Then, he brought Tian outside. Outside the pavilion, Tian saw an old man stroking his beard. He looked at Huolinger beside him and said to himself, Holy Maiden of the Leaf Fire sect, the person beside you must be a senior of your Leaf Fire sect, right? Then, Ting Wubing cupped his fist at Tian. On the orders of the pavilion master, I came to ask Senior if you dare to accommodate the stone door for a chat. When he spoke, Ting Wubing also had a hint of provocation. Tian was also a little stunned when he heard what Wu Bing said. A chat at the stone gate? Why did this old man speak as if he was very familiar with him? Then, Xiao Changtian also scanned the old man. He also remembered the time he went to find the heaven-suppressing spoon with Chuiren. It was that old man Xiao En's sect. Looking at this old man's Chinibu appearance, could it be that he came from his sect? That old man had heard that he was with such an awesome sect like the Leaf Fire sect. She wanted to come over and chat with him. As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian felt that the possibility of this was getting higher and higher. Then, he said slowly to the listening soldiers below, "Then let's have a chat at the stone door." Xiao Changtian also remembered the little bird he caught last time. After that, he left in a hurry and forgot about it. This time, he could give the little bird to him. Hearing Xiao Changtian agree so readily, Wu Bing also said slowly to Xiao Changtian, "Senior, please." As he spoke, Ting Wubing also made an inviting gesture to Xiao Changtian. At this moment, Xiao Changtian didn't hesitate and walked down. Seeing Xiao Changtian leave with the Tingwu soldiers, Huo Ling naturally followed. She also knew the intentions of the Pavilion of Raindrops. Senior had made the Pavilion of Raindrops sweep away their dignity at the stone gate. At this time, the Pavilion of Raindrops probably wanted to use the same method to re-establish the prestige of the Pavilion of Raindrops from the seniors. However, since Senior dared to go, he naturally had his own plans. Presumably, Senior already had a plan in mind and had a response to the arrival of the Pavilion of Raindrops. With this thought in mind, Huolinger followed Xiao Changtian towards the stone door. Soon, under Wu Bing's lead, Xiao Changtian and the rest slowly arrived at the stone door. He came to the stone gate again. This time, Xiao Changtian stood on the stone gate and looked at the scenery below. It also had a unique charm. At this moment, Tingwu also said to Xiao Changtian, "I heard that Senior defeated young master here and made young master kowtow to Senior." Standing beside Xiao Changtian, the Tingwu Bing also looked down at the stone pit that had yet to be repaired. Defeat the young master. Kowtow. This fellow was talking about the one who was defeated by the Leaf Fire Sect's senior a few days ago, right? As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Tingwu Bing, "Oh, you're talking about that archer kid? He was indeed defeated. That kid is too spineless." Xiao Changtian sighed as he spoke. If that guy couldn't win, then so be it. He actually lost his dignity in front of everyone. How did he look like a cultivator? One look and he could tell that he was a coward. Even Futian could not join such a sect. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Wu Bing's eyes were filled with anger. Was this senior mocking their listening pavilion for their poor teaching? However, since Wu Bing hadn't figured out Xiao Changshan's strength yet, he didn't dare to make a move. According to their plan, he would first come over to stall Xiao Changtian and Huolinger. Don't let them run away. Meanwhile, the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops led the entire army of the Pavilion of Raindrops over. At that time, they would attack together and kill Xiao Changtian here. They had re-established the prestige of the Pavilion of Raindrops. Then, Ting Wubing said to Xiao Changtian, "Senior, do you think you can block the attack of the entire Raindrop Pavilion?" Xiao Changtian sighed in his heart when he heard Wu Bing's words. These old men were really competitive. However, he was the one fighting. It was the Leaf Fire sect fighting. Moreover, I am also very clear about your Raindrop Pavilion's strength. He wondered if the sect formed by a few old men had a grade. Chapter 458, That's right. 1. Divine Realm, Drunken Immortal Restaurant. In front of the stone door, Xiao Changtian looked at Huolinger beside him and then said to the Tingwu soldiers beside him, "There shouldn't be any problems." The Leaf Fire sect that Huolinger was in had divine lord powerhouses. What could a sect formed by an old man like you use to fight against others? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Ting Wubing snorted coldly. This person was actually so arrogant. One had to know that there was only him and the holy maiden of the Leaf Fire sect here. When the pavilion master and the others arrived, she would have to fend off an entire sect by herself. Xiao Changtian felt helpless when he saw Ting Wubbing's cold snort. This old man was really competitive. Then, Xiao Changtian said to Huolinger, "Don't you agree, Miss Huolinger?" Huolinger heard Xiao Changshan's sudden question and quickly responded. "Yes, Senior is right." Huolinger didn't know Xiao Changshan's actual strength. However, Xiao Changtian was the master of the White Tiger, and the White Tiger was an ancient divine beast. Not to mention anything else, just the last time at the Leaf Fire Sect. Huolinger vaguely heard her father, the Leaf Fire Sect's sect master, say something. The 3 godly emperors of the demon race's main hall, whose names shook the demon beast world, were slapped to death by a divine monkey. One had to know that he was a godly emperor. And this Pavilion of Raindrops was about the same as their Leaf Fire Sect. The strongest expert in the sect was merely a divine lord. Forget about the White Tiger, they could not even defeat a godly emperor. Xiao Changtian saw that Huolinger agreed with him, so he waved his hands at the soldier. The Holy Maiden of the Leaf Fire Sect had already said that she could beat up your Pavilion of Raindrops. Why don't you believe me? Don't tell me there's a divine lord in your sect. Wu Bing didn't say anything after seeing Xiao Changshan's expression. Now, he only needed to wait for the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops to arrive. Moreover, looking at Xiao Changshan's appearance, there was a high chance that he would not escape. At the same time, in a valley on the way to the Drunken Immortal restaurant. In the air, the spirit boats of the Pavilion of Raindrops streaked across the sky. Following that, the spirit ship in front of them slowly slowed down. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops felt that the speed of his spirit ship had slowed down. He also slowly said to the disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops in front of him, "What's going on? Why are we stopping?" The voice of the Pavilion of Raindrops echoed on the spirit ship. Then, a disciple of the Pavilion of Raindrops slowly walked up. He slowly said to the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops, "Pavilion Master, there is someone blocking the path ahead." "What?" The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops also stood up from his seat when he heard his disciples report. He slowly walked towards the bow of the spirit ship. Along the way, the disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops also slowly bowed to him and made way for him. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops stood at the bow of the ship. A few figures stood in the air. They were all wearing black cloaks, and their appearances could not be seen clearly. Looking at the few people in front of him, the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops also swept his gaze across them. He realized that he could not see through their auras. Interesting. Although the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops couldn't see through their auras, she was a little afraid. However, he had brought the entire sect out this time. The entire sect was present. As long as it was not a godly emperor personally coming, they were really not afraid of anything happening. Then, the Pavilion Lord of the Pavilion of Raindrops slowly said to the few people in front of him, "Fellow Taoists, what is the meaning of stopping the Pavilion of Raindrops from advancing?" The voice of the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Raindrops echoed in the air. Naturally, it attracted the cultivators who came and went. Those cultivators looked at the few black figures in front of the spirit boats of the Tingyu Pavilion and were also a little curious. Who are these people? How dare they block the cultivators of the Pavilion of Raindrops? Don't they know that the Pavilion of Raindrops is coming menacingly and is going to deal with the Leaf Fire Sect? Sigh, we're going to see a few more corpses. Some of the cultivators who were passing by looked at the figures in the air and sighed. In their opinion, these few figures were probably going to suffer. So what if these people were powerful cultivators? In the end, there were fewer people. Unless a godly emperor came personally, how could they deal with the entire Pavilion of Raindrops? After all, once a sect's foundation was fully unleashed, it was not something that could be casually said. However, there were only a few known godly emperors in the divine world. Why would they use their identities to deal with a sect like the Pavilion of Raindrops? At this moment, the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops, who was standing at the bow of the spirit ship, saw that the few figures in front of him had no intention of dodging. Then, he waved his hand. "Disciples, listen up. Form the formation." The voice of the pavilion master of the Raindrop Pavilion sounded on the spirit ship. Then, the arrays of the spirit ships on the group of spirit ships of the Pavilion of Raindrops surged. Above them, a strong gust of wind blew. Dark clouds gathered, followed by raindrops floating in the air. Eroding rain. The pavilion master of the Raindrop Pavilion was standing at the front of the spirit boat, leading the entire formation. Then, the raindrops under the dark clouds were about to hit the few figures in front of them. "Look, that's the unique technique of the Pavilion of Raindrops, the corrosive rain." "That's right. It's said that the raindrops produced by this secret technique contain poison. Even if you can resist it, it will be very difficult to resist the corrosion of the poison." While the cultivators below were discussing, the few black figures in front also began to speak. At this moment, a voice slowly entered the ears of the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops. "I heard that you want to deal with that senior from the Leaf Fire Sect." Tian's words slowly rang out in the mind of the pavilion lord. Following that, the pavilion lord of the Pavilion of Raindrops also shouted coldly at the few figures in front of him. "So you're going to help the Leaf Fire Sect? There's no need to be polite." "You're right. I'm going to deal with the Leaf Fire Sect. As for that senior, he's just bluffing." The pavilion lord of the Raindrop Pavilion slowly spoke to Tian and the others. Following that, the true essence in his hands surged, and the poisonous rain in the sky also attacked Tian and the others. "That's right," Tian mumbled. After that, he didn't bother about the rain that was raining down from the sky. "Senior's enemy is our enemy. You don't have the right to see Senior." As Tian spoke, the raindrops also arrived above his head. And when the raindrops were only a step away from the emperor, the raindrops seemed to have been hit by an irresistible force and directly condensed into ice. After this raindrop condensed into ice, all the raindrops behind it also turned into ice drops one after another. At this moment, the cultivators below were all dumbfounded when they saw this change. At this moment, a voice sounded in everyone's minds. "After today, there won't be another Pavilion of Raindrops." Chapter 459, Destroying the Pavilion of Raindrops, 1, Divine Realm, in the sky above a valley. Tian's emotionless voice reverberated through the air. After that, the Sword Emperor who was standing behind Tian took the lead and walked over. The Sword Emperor's hands were filled with true qi as he pointed his two fingers upwards. Then, the giant sword on his back trembled. A terrifying aura appeared between heaven and earth. Bang! The huge sword was unsheathed, bringing with it an invincible sharp aura that wreaked havoc in the surroundings. When the cultivators below saw the Sword Emperor, their expressions changed. Some of the weaker cultivators felt the pressure from the Sword Emperor. His body involuntarily leaned back. "This is a godly emperor, a godly emperor." Many cultivators looked at the Sword Emperor in the air and said in disbelief, "Heavens, when did the Pavilion of Raindrops offend the God Emperor? Could it be that senior? Look, another godly emperor has appeared." As the sound of a cultivator's voice faded, everyone turned to look at Tian. Another black figure took a step forward, and purple flowers appeared around him. As soon as the purple flower appeared, it also attacked the spirit boats of the Pavilion of Raindrops. Bang! 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 Under the attack of the purple flower, the spirit ship of the Pavilion of Raindrops could not withstand it for even a breath. With a bang, it landed on the ground. Ah! Between heaven and earth, the miserable cries of the disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops continued to ring out. The pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops saw that his attack had failed. Instead, he had lost more than half of his Pavilion of Raindrops disciples. Staring at Tian and the others, their hearts were slowly filled with fear. He did not know when he had provoked the godly emperor who he could not see usually. Looking at the way they attacked, they did not intend to give him a way out at all. As he thought of this, the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops' expression darkened. When he saw the disciple of the Pavilion of Raindrops standing behind him with a terrified expression, he also stretched out his hand and aimed it at him. Then, with a swoosh, the disciple of the Pavilion of Raindrops was sucked into his hand. Cultivate you for so long, make your contribution for so long. As he spoke, the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops looked at the disciple in his hand with a ferocious expression. Pavilion master, don't. When the disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops saw the actions of the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops, they hurriedly begged for mercy. Go. The pavilion lord of the Raindrops Pavilion tossed the disciples in her hands towards Tian and the others. Then, the true essence in his body surged, and his hand carried a strong true essence light. Pavilion master, don't. The true essence in the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops' hand flickered. Then, the disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops on the spirit ship discovered that their bodies had risen into the air. All of them flew towards the location of Tian and the others. Secret technique, rain explosion. Staring at the many disciples of the Raindrop Pavilion flying towards Tian and the others. The pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops had a ferocious expression as he made a hand gesture. Then, bang. With a bang, those disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops felt the true essence in their bodies surge. His body involuntarily self-destructed. This pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops is truly a ruthless person. Tian stared at the disciples of the Raindrop Pavilion gathered before him. Although these disciples' cultivation levels were generally relatively weak, these cultivators self-destructed in front of him. It was indeed a little troublesome. At this moment, the Ice Emperor had already formed an ice shield in front of Tian. It blocked all the aftershocks of the attack. Bang! 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 When the ice shield was formed, the disciples of the Pavilion of Raindrops also exploded. When the cultivators below saw this scene, their faces were filled with fear. This pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops is truly insane. That's right. I don't know how he could kill so many disciples. Below, a group of cultivators began to crusade against the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops. As the aftershock from the explosion of the disciples from the Pavilion of Raindrops dissipated, Tian and the others slowly appeared in the air once again. Not a scratch. One of the cultivators exclaimed involuntarily as he stared at Tian, who remained unaffected. These people are all godly emperors. A cultivator voiced out his guess. He stared at Tian and spoke in fear. Only a godly emperor could be unscathed from such a powerful explosion. At this moment, the demon emperor had also appeared before Tian. He was holding a figure in his hand. From his appearance, it was the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops. My lord, the person has been brought here. The devil emperor stared at the pavilion lord in his hands as he spoke to Tian. Tian stared at the pavilion lord as he slowly nodded his head. Bring him to senior, Tian calmly said. After that, he also flew into the distance. After Tian left, the Ice Emperor and the others didn't stay any longer. They slowly left with Tian. After Tian left, the cultivators below looked empty. There's no one left in the Raindrop Pavilion. A cultivator looked at the somewhat broken spirit boat of the Pavilion of Raindrops on the ground and muttered. The Pavilion of Raindrops wants to deal with that senior from the Leaf Fire Sect. It seems that the senior that the Leaf Fire Sect has just embraced is unfathomable. A cultivator looked at the scene in front of him and said with some fear. From now on, as long as that senior from the Leaf Fire Sect was around, he would consciously take a detour when he saw people from the Leaf Fire Sect. At the same time, at the stone door of the Drunken Immortal restaurant, the Tingu soldiers kept looking forward. Looking at Xiao Chang Tian, who was standing beside him with a calm expression, his heart gradually became nervous. According to the time, the pavilion master and the others should have arrived by now. With this thought in mind, Ting Wubing could not help but take out a jade pendant from his sleeve. He wanted to send a voice transmission to the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops. He gathered his true essence in his hand and injected it into the jade pendant. At this time, Xiao Changtian said to Ting Wubing, "Old man, you say that people come or come, ill go." Xiao Changtian also came to the martial listening soldier's side and said to him slowly. After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, she saw his smile. Ting Wubing felt that something was wrong and looked at the jade pendant in his hand. The pavilion master of the Pavilion of Raindrops did not reply to him at all. Could there be an accident? Xiao Changtian saw that Ao didn't respond, so he decided to go back. He couldn't be crazy with this old man here. At this moment, Tian and the others slowly walked up from below the stone door. Upon seeing Xiao Changtian, Tian and the Ice Emperor behind him slowly said to Xiao Changtian, "Senior." Tian. Upon seeing Tian, Xiao Changtian also felt some joy. He didn't expect to see Tian here. However, it wasn't hard to understand. Tian was also considered half a cultivator. It was normal for him to be able to come here. When Ting Wubing saw the person in the hands of the Ice Emperor, his expression changed drastically. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.